all right. It is Saturday morning. I'm telling you, man. Listen, I got my coffee. I know you got yours. We've got a great topic today. Today's topic is about the state of Black America. They just came out with the report. The Urban League's annual report on the state of Black America came out. And believe you me, yeah, it's not looking so good for us in the United States. And this is why a lot of brothers and sisters are considering relocating. I know a lot of people have fears and worries about relocating to another country, but despite those fears, they fear more being in the States than the fear that they would have if they left the States. So we're going to be talking about that. We got a couple of guests that might be popping up today, hopefully. And so we're going to be talking about that. We're going to be watching a headline that came out with the president of the Urban League regarding some of the things that have impacted their report since 1964. It's been 60 years since the Civil Rights Bill has been passed. 60 years. What has happened for Black people? A lot of good, positive things, but then there's still some room for improvement. So we're going to talk about some of those areas. At the same time, he's going to talk about some of the things that we do need to improve on. Definitely. But one of the things that's a problem for me and a problem for others is our children's children won't even be alive to see the changes that takes place, even if they start today in the United States for people of color. I'll say that again. Our children's children won't even be alive to see equality take place in the United States based off of the report that the Urban League has presented. But we're going to talk about what we can do to have a great impact on us today, to make changes for Black people today. So we're going to be discussing that. And once again, my name is Andre of Andre and Andres Love Crossing Borders. Appreciate you guys being here, looking good. All right, let's get us some morning music going. Let's get us something smooth popping off. That's what we'll do. Get us some smooth music. Oh, there we go. That's Saturday morning cleaning up the house, jazzy music right there. Yeah. To all the grown men, all the grown ladies, all you Chicago steppers, Detroit steppers, all you hand dancers, DMV dancers, you already know how to do it smooth. You already know how to do it smooth. All right. We're also going to be looking at some of the things that are taking place to validate some of my statements. It's one thing for me to make certain statements. It really is. It's another thing to see the state of Black America validating some of the reasons why so many of us of color are leaving. There are so many that are telling us that we should just stay, we should tolerate, we should endure. And yet they see the lives that we eventually live in other countries and they feel a little perturbed. In other words, there are Black people in the United States that are upset with you because you are leaving the Black love struggle train. I said it again. You are leaving the Black love struggle train. You decided, hey, I love my people, but I'm tired of the struggle. 60 years since the Civil Rights Movement, and since the passing of the bill is long enough, let me see what's on the other side of the plantation. So many Black people in the United States have a tendency of thinking that life is better on Mr. Gilmore's property. Mr. Gilmore, Mr. Uncle Sam, good white folk. He good white folk. Don't you put Uncle Sam down. Let's get ready to do these shout outs. That's what we'll do. We'll do some shout outs. Here we go. We got my man Don, aka the Don JP, in the building. He said, in the gym, big bro. Good morning, all. Good morning to you, kind sir. Good morning to you. Let's continue on with my man for profit. Them Cleveland boys in the building. Shout out to you. You know how we do. Roller coaster. Roller. Them Ohio players. Yes, sir. My man Tiger Blood, straight from the vein. Peace to the chat, because chat lives matters. Yes, sir. Shout out to you guys being here this morning. We've got 54 people in the building already. Make sure you click that like button. We like you. Make sure you like us too, because once we click that like button and all you guys come in, we already know who's coming next.
Oprah coming next. Once I establish this as a place of truth, oh yeah.
Oh yeah, Oprah's coming next. And before Oprah gets here, we got my man Sid in the building. Shout out to you, Sid, being here. Good morning, kind sir. And we got Mara Yahweh in the building. Shout out to you being here. I appreciate you being here. What's up, everyone? What's up to you, kind sir? What's up to you? Let me make sure I scroll down. And we got my man Timothy in the building. And also, shout out, I didn't get a chance to do a shout out last night. Shout out to Beards World. My man Beards World sent a $10 cash app. Shout out to you, brother. I appreciate you. I hope you come in this morning so I can give you another decent shout out as well. We got my man David Dice in the building. Good morning, everyone, everybody. We waking up to some smooth music with some grown folks. LJ, the Southern Vegan, is in the building as well, doing what he does. Come on, guys. Shout out to you, LJ, with the $2 super sticker for the love of the game. We'll take that for the love of the game. I got the cologne of the day ready for you guys. And we got Tectonic in the building. That sounds familiar. I was thinking about Lil Wayne's alter ego is Tech something. I forgot what it is. It sounds something like that. Good morning, Andre and Andre. Good morning to you as well, kind sir. Good morning. We got my man GS Louis in the building. Shout out to you. Shout out to you, Louis, being here. And we got Tiger 9511. That's new to me, brother. That's a new name, and I appreciate it. The United Struggles of America. You know where I got the term United Snakes of America from? The singer Nina Simone. Yeah, when she moved to France, she said, I'm dying here in France. She said, we're talking about the Nina Simone, the voice of Black America back in the day. And she said, I am not going back to the United Snakes of America. Literally. That was one of her last famous quotes about the United States. And yes, now it's the United States of Americant. Because they just can't take care of you. They can't change. They can't advance. They can't let go of the racism. They can't let go of the brutality. They can't let go of the high unemployment rate. And we're going to be looking at the housing costs in the United States compared to if you were going to go to another country. The housing costs, just the down payments per state. We're going to look at that list that they just put out a couple of days ago. This is fresh off the presses, such as my man Morning Drive Coffee Break. I'm with you, brethren. I am with you. Got my coffee in hand. Shout out to my man Tevin in the building, Mr. King himself, who's always been here supporting the channel. Hey, Tev, I got to get you. You know what? Let me see something. I got to get you a wrench. Let me get you a wrench real quick, so you can be one of the moderators. Mm-hmm. There you go, Tev. Because you're always here and always supporting. So you officially have a wrench with a few other people. Shout out to you, brother, for being here. Like the stream. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Like the stream, people. Click that like button. We got 67 people in the building. Shout out to you. We already know if you guys click that like button.
Oprah coming next.
Shout out to my man Jay Laron in the building of the Laron family. Shout out to you, brother. Presents. Good morning. Let's get it. Yes, sir. Like I said, today we're going to start. We're going to have start with the shout outs. Then, hopefully by then, one of our guests pop up. If they don't, we're going to continue on. We have a video that came out yesterday from the Urban League, an interview that they did this morning on the morning show on CBS, the president of the Urban League, in regards to the report of the state of Black America right now. Some things were great that he had to say, but some things, and I even have the article pulled up, some things we ain't looking so good. And he said this, and the reason why I said it'll take your grandkids to see equality. I'm going to say this again. It's going to take, the Urban League says statistically, if everything fell in place like it's supposed to be, it will take your grandkids to see equality for Black people in the United States. There is nothing you can do about it short of reparations. Even with reparations, there's so much psychological damage that's taking place. You could give every Black person in the United States $200,000 and they will have that money back in the white man's hands within 2 weeks. So a lot of what's taking place in the Black community is based off not only legal inequalities in certain areas and systematic racism in certain areas, but also mental stagnation. In other words, the residue from the slave trade, Jim Crow, Reformation age, civil rights movement, all of that has residue that's impacting many of us of color to this day. And now we're sitting back seeing immigrants that come across the borders being treated better than you ever did. When was the last time they gave you free housing? Even the projects wasn't free. When was the last time they gave you $1,000 a month voucher for food for free? You had to fill out all type of forms and paperwork just to get food stamps and EBT cards. So they're saying, the Urban League said after their research, they found that it will take Black people, minorities, 180 years to get to the point where you are literally economically equal to white people. I don't know about you, but I know there's a bunch of us that are brothers and sisters that realize I don't have 180 years to just throw away waiting for equality. My children don't have that amount of time. My children's children don't have that amount of time. So for all you that run around talk about foundational Black American, yes, we are. All of you that are fighting the good fight, what are we supposed to do? Just up and leave? Most of y'all not going away anyway. Y'all don't even go to Canada or Mexico. So we know most of y'all ain't going nowhere. Most of y'all have been programmed to be too scared to go anywhere. You too scared to leave your own city. You too scared to leave Philadelphia, DMV, too scared to leave Miami, too scared to leave Utah, too scared to leave Milwaukee. Least long LA or Texas or Louisiana, where you really has gotten comfortable. So they know that they can do anything they want to you legally. They can systematically put out anything. Why? Because your black tail ain't going nowhere. So I'm not talking to you guys. And I'm not talking to you ladies that have decided that I'm going to stay here and fight the good fight for the next 180 years to get equality. Because the Black Urban League already said, no matter what you guys are doing, you can march, you can picket, you can go ahead and vote, you can fight for this or fight for that, and it will still take you 180 years to get as equal economically as those that you consider, not me and others, but those that you consider your superiors, white folk. So you go ahead and use your 180 years the way that you want to, and the rest of us black folks with passports, we'll use our 180 years the way that we want to. Shout out to those of you who use your 180 years. Shout out to my man David in the building. We got 86 people in the building this morning. Good morning, everybody. Hope you got your coffee. For all of you that are on second shift, first shift, if you're on first shift this morning, you already know you ain't doing no work today. It's Saturday. Your boss ain't even in, is he? No, he ain't in. He ain't nowhere in. Nowhere near in. And if you're working overtime this Saturday, shout out to you OT workers. Get that money. I ain't mad at you. I know what you got plans for that money. Shout out to Elise in the building. Elise Durrell. Shout out to you in the building. Appreciate you being here last night as well as this morning. My man Will. Chill Will in the building. He said, fellas, travel as much as you can. He's giving you words of wisdom. Go experience the world. I was just looking at a video this morning. We might showcase it a little later on. This brother was homeless in the States. I'll say it again, homeless in the States. The little money that he was getting from unemployment, the little money that he was getting from here and there, his savings wasn't stretching long enough. So he took the little money that he was getting monthly and moved to the Philippines. He went to a few other countries, but he settled, like Will said, travel as much. That's what the brother did. We're talking about a dude that was homeless. His money that he had in the States still had him sleeping on the streets. There are so many of the 630,000 people that are homeless in the United States outside of the immigrants. 630,000 American citizens, including children. Many of them are the working homeless. This means that these people are going to college, or these people have full-time jobs, and yet they cannot afford the rent in the States. The United States is number one in a lot of areas, and being expensive, one of the most expensive countries in the world, we're up there as well. And so this guy in this video, the brother, I was just looking at his video, and he's telling his story of how he left. He said, I left, I'm out. I gave the United States all these years. I couldn't get it right in the United States. I'm not going to sit up here and delete myself. So here's what I do, just like Will said. This homeless dude took what little money he had and he started traveling and ended up in the Philippines and ended up creating a whole new life for himself. Black man. But a lot of black folks would have told him stay there and continue to struggle with the rest of us. Continue to be on the struggle love train. Join the love train, love train. People all over the world, join in. Struggle love train, love train. There are people in the United States that will make you feel guilty because you want to use your passport because you are tired of being a part of or getting on and getting off of the black struggle love train in the United States. I just want to let you know there are brothers and sisters on the other side of the plantation that's waiting for you. Don't you ever feel like if you leave the United States, you just in this vast wilderness known as the world, and nobody will be here to assist you or encourage you or help you. That's a lie. When I left the States, when dudes like Will travel, when I leave the States, I meet dudes like Will. When I left the States, I meet dudes like you guys. So yeah. Shout out to you guys. Shout out to you again, Will. Shout out to Mr. Crawford in the building. Kevin Crawford's world, other Crawford's family. Buenos dias. Happy Saturday morning from Dallas, Texas. Yes, sir.
I told this guy where
I hit the wrong one.
He said, oh, Canada.
Now y'all know about the Texas boy coming down to Candy Toy.
Yes, what y'all know about them Texas boys. Shout out to you being here. He said, I'm still trying to finish last night live. He said, I loved it. I caught 2 hours of it. Yes, sir, man. That was a fun live stream we did live last night. If you guys didn't get a chance to see it, when you get done, take a break and then watch last night's live stream later on this afternoon or this evening, especially if you're at work. It'll make your day go by faster. Shout out to my man Black Nubian. Now this is what this drop is for.
I told this guy where I was from. He said, oh, Canada.
Them Canadian boys in the building, Mom. They're at it again. Them Canadian boys are at it again. Shout out to my man Timothy, who's always here, showing love. Shout out to you, brother. He said, it is clobbering time. The Thing. OVO. You ain't even have to say the thing for me. I already know. They're about to come out with that new Fantastic Four movie in the next couple of years, too. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Now that the Fantastic Four, as well as the X-Men, are part of the Marvel Universe, let's see if they get back on track. The Navigator himself, Darkest, is in the building. Shout out to you. Shout out to you being here. He says, what's up, brother? He said, we ready? Wise game from master teacher. Shout out to you, brother. Shout out to you being here. And my man TD Hutch of the Hutch family. Top of the morning, Coach Dre. Top of the morning. We got 90 people in the building. Click that like button. We like you. We really do. Make sure you like us too. That invites other people in the live stream. Let me check on something real quick, guys, before we continue on. All right. All right. Looking good. I was just checking on a couple of our guests. All right, cool. Thanks, guys. All right, here we go. I like that, how you spelled that. The Mister. Just keep it simple. Keeping it simple. Shout out to you being here this morning. I appreciate that. Yeah, they did. They did get the money that we would have. It's amazing how we in the United States, our government can just take a keyboard, move some O's and ones around, and create money for everybody else but us. I love our country. I really do, but we got some things that we need to improve on greatly. I really love the United States. As a country, I have no complaint. I love where I was born and raised. I love the city that I was born and raised. Shout out to Detroit, them Detroit boys.
You better back the fuck up out my face, goddammit. I'm from Detroit, Michigan. Don't play with me.
I love being from Detroit. We got a chance to get music from all over the country, all type of music, to where East Coasters just basically listen to East Coast, or West Coasters just listen to West Coast. People from the South just listen to the dirty South music. In Detroit, man, you listen to everything from 1 minute you listen to Parliament Funkadelics, the next minute you got B-52s blaring. Burn, 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 burn. Listen to you some Rock Lobster. In Detroit, you listen to everything from house music to New York hip hop. And then West Coast, you getting all that electric music from Arabian Prince, Egyptian Lover. I like the girls, girls. Dr. Dre's beat is the beat that makes you free. You listen to all that West Coast, then you listen to NWA, King T. Shout out to King T. That was a cool thing about living in Detroit. You're right in the middle, and you got it. Just being in the Midwest, you heard everything coming out of the Chi, the house music coming out of Chicago. I wouldn't trade the United States as far as my being raised for any place else. But that still doesn't make it a place of perfection or a place where I want to spend my last days just because I spent my first days there. I'm going to say that again. A lot of us feel like we feel race loyalty, which is nothing wrong with that. And some of us feel country loyalty, and there is nothing wrong with that. But just because you were born somewhere doesn't mean you have to die there, or the place of your you have to die there. As I'm saying this, I'm thinking about all the Bible heroes that were born in one place and passed on in a better place. From Moses to Abraham, Isaac and Jacob found their wives in another country. I'll say it again. This finding your girlfriend or finding your wife or finding a good woman in another country is not new. It's nothing new. Think about it. Within the first 10 major characters in the Bible, at least 5 or 6 of them were part of migration. And if you want to be honest, even though Adam and Eve got kicked out the garden, that was part of a migration. They had to go from one location to find another location. You had Lot go through the same thing. Lot had to leave Sodom and Gomorrah, didn't he? One location to another location. Abraham, one location to another location. Abraham's dad, Tamar, one location to another location. Genesis chapter 11, last 5 verses. Abraham chapter 12, first 5 verses. Abraham relocated. Isaac relocated. Jacob relocated. King David relocated. Migration has always been a part of who we are as a people, globally, no matter what race, color, or creed, or culture. So when I sit back and I see people of color struggling generation for generation, even for 60 years after the Civil Rights Equality Bill had passed, we are still sitting up there and trying to pretend as if this is the final migration. This is the promised land. The United States is the proud. You came over here on ships. You didn't volunteer to go over. And then we want to sit back and we want to pretend as if it's the ultimate promised land. And what I mean by that, we want our children's children to go through the same struggles, if not worse, that we're going through today. I don't get it. At least do like Will said. Shout out to you guys. We got 97 in the building. At least do what Brother Will said and at least try to go out and see what we're talking about. If you have this year, 2024, I encourage all people of color to not only get your passports, but to book your first trip. And I recommend that you go to, if you can't make it to an African country, come down to South America among your brothers and sisters in Brazil, among your brothers and sisters here in Colombia, among your brothers and sisters in parts of Mexico. Go visit Cuba and see the life of what is really like the struggle, and then you appreciate things when you see your brothers and sisters struggle. Go to some of the Caribbean islands other than Jamaica. Go to Turks and Caicos. Go to St. Thomas, St. Martin, Barbados. Go to Belize. Go to the location. Now that's not an island, but go to Belize to see your people. You don't have to only go to Africa. This myth of only going to the motherland to see your own people, that's sold to you in the States. Once you travel, you start to realize I could go so many places and see people that walk with the pride of the African heritage without going all the way to Africa. Now, if you want to go to Africa, yes, you can do that. Yes, you can. That's one of our goals. But this myth of if you get a passport as a black person, it is you're obligated to go to Africa. You're not obligated to go anywhere. Now you've got options and opportunities. Don't forget that, guys. All of us want to go back to the motherland and see the motherland where we came from. Well, most of us. So that's no problem. I understand that part. But don't forget about your brothers and sisters that got off the ships along with you. You got a lot of cousins that you didn't get a chance to meet here in Colombia. You got a lot of cousins in Venezuela. You just don't know how many aunties you got in Brazil that was on that ship and they separated your family on those ships. You know how many kinfolk you got in Cartagena? Kinfolk that you got in Argentina? Kinfolk that you got in Cuba? Kinfolks you got in Caribbeans? You got a lot of kinfolks your people didn't get a chance to meet because they got separated on the ships. They got on one ship, they landed, and they separated and split them up into other different ships. So definitely, guys, take advantage of your passport. Shout out to my man Timothy once again. Yes, sir. These are facts, kind sir. You say, Andre, you still owe us a drink break. Actually, you weren't around. I gave back-to-back drink breaks yesterday. But I'll make sure I give you guys a drink break today. Definitely. Gray dress. See, you guys like Gray dress. I like the sister that was dancing with the dude. They were doing a slow romantic. Them curves and them jeans. I'm like, oh my goodness. That's the ones I like. The sister when she's doing a slow romantic dance with the brother. And all those dances are Colombian dances. That's how they slow jam in Colombia. I'm like, man, I ain't mad at them. He said, we need to build our own businesses and pass generational wealth. Yes, sir. Yes, we do. Save and invest. And you know what the crazy part is? Those of us that think like that have already been focusing and doing that. Have already been doing that. But there are others that have not been doing that. And that's what slows us down. He said, we spend $1 trillion a year on black. We spend $1 trillion per year, blacks alone spend. He didn't have to say product or anything. Spend. And our money is taking care of wars. Yep. Poor and rich people outside of America and migrants, etc., etc., etc. I'm serious, guys. We have 104 people in the building. Click that like button. We're going to get started in a second with the video. I'm going to turn the music down after I get done with the shout outs. Glad that you guys are here. But he's absolutely correct. It is not like black people ain't got no money. I'll say that again. We might not have the money that other cultures have, but the last thing that black people can say, we ain't got no money. Really? I just with my one guilty pleasure. Some people got 3 or 4 guilty pleasures. My guilty pleasure is, as you guys can see, colognes. Speaking of the cologne of the day is Jean Paul Gaultier Ultra Male. It doesn't have a label on it or anything. Let me move that comment out the way for a second. Very smooth, after shower, clean cologne. They're the same ones that made the cologne Scandal. So you see Scandal, and usually you see Scandal with like the crown on the top. I kind of broke my cross. You know, usually has a cross on the top of it, but I broke my cross. I dropped the top and broke my cross. So you got Scandal and Jean Paul Gaultier. Oh, Gaultier, yeah, Gaultier with a G. And Ultra Male. Very, very smooth colognes. Very good. Very good. So those are the colognes that I'm wearing. Actually, The Ultra Male is what I'm wearing right now. No, the Scandal. The Scandal is what I'm wearing right now. All right. All right. Shantarius is in the building. Shout out to you. Good morning, OG. Yes, sir. I'm glad that you're here as well. I'm glad that you're here. Good morning. The sponsor. I like that. I like that. He said, my guy is speaking the truth this morning. He said, I've been saying this for years after being in economic development. Yeah. I've been seeing it for years. You know how you intelligent black brothers and sisters, when y'all notice something, but you can't say it to the average everyday brother and sister, so you kind of keep it to yourself? Like you'll see something like 5 years ahead, like those of us that see where AI is going or where crypto is going, but we can't say that. We can't talk about it during the family reunion or church picnic. We see we're investing in these things. But if you ask the average black person, once cameras go off, they can't tell you too much about AI and crypto investments and things like that. But they can tell you how much an Usher ticket costs. Bet that. They can tell you the price of the new Air Jordans that's coming out, or the latest Air Force Ones. Even though I like Air Force Ones, I'm a classic all white Air Force One guy. Just give me some nice white ones and I'm good. Or all black. But yeah, when it comes to economic development, that's the other thing that's hard treading. Even if they made everything equal in the United States, and I'm going to turn the music down in a moment, guys. If they made everything equal in the United States, it's going to take decades to get this right on how to handle that type of money. Because even if we even if we sat back and said, if they changed no laws, if everything was still the same in 20 years, and we decide to slow down on our spending habits as black people when it comes to this $1 trillion that we spend every year, do you know how hard it would get to get black people to not spend? If black people don't know how to do nothing, we know how to complain and we know how to spend. We've mastered the Shaolin Temple art of complaining. We're gonna complain about everything. That's what we do. And we're gonna spend. Therefore, we have very, very little economic power to change what we complain about. You see how that works? Shout out to my man Charles Keys in the building with the $5. He said women love the benefits here. The laws, that's another thing. He's absolutely correct. Let me turn the music down just a tad bit, guys. Drop it down to 11 instead of 14. He's correct. Oh, yeah, I like that Saturday morning jazz. I won't even lie. Richie Mack. What you know? Hey, what are you doing? Shout out to Richie Mack in the building. In the building, Richard. Okay. He said, peace, brother Dre. He said, I'm back in Japan. Oh, man, I ain't mad at you, brother. We'll be heading that way later on this year. He said, I'm back in Japan and loving every second of it. Anton Daniels just got back from there, and it changed his perspective on the Passport Bro movement, that one trip with his family, and got to Japan, and he realized, you know what? Get your passport, fellas. It's such a wonderful feeling when you leave the matrix, even for a short time. I just read an article, and that's absolutely correct. I just read an article that a sister who was so scared to travel, but she had a friend that was a traveler who finally convinced her to take a trip. And she took her first trip, and as she was getting back on the plane, the sister started crying because she had to go back to the Matrix. Just like a lot of us brothers shed a tear or two when we head back after our first or second trip, especially if you met somebody. Boy, that's the hard part. If you met somebody in another country and y'all had a good time while you were on vacation, and now you got to go back to the States, oh, bruh, that's a hard flight. And then as soon as you get back in the customs, and then, well, actually, as soon as you get off the plane and you start seeing all this obesity around you and people all loud, and you used to be in the airports where it's all quiet and people act like they got some sense, and you like, I'm back in this. Boy. The sister said she was going through the same thing. She had the same tears that a lot of us do. So I'm glad that you are out of the Matrix, brother, even for a short time. Passports and profits in the building. He said, "What's up, people? I love the Crossing Borders logo. Oh, did I have the logo on? Oh, I do. Good. I wasn't even look. I should have looked in the screen in the monitor. So shout out to you." He said, "What's your thoughts on countries dumping dollars and the brick? It'll take a long time for that to take place with the brick, though. I believe that it can and it will, because we've always had shifts in how economies have ruled the world. The U.S. dollar hasn't always been number one. I'll say it again. The U.S. dollar hadn't always been number one. What country was number one prior to the U.S. dollar? Russia. Russian currency was number one prior to the U.S. dollar for years. A lot of people don't know that. We were born into a country where our currency has been on top. So we don't think about what was the currency or what country's currency was on top prior to ours and prior to theirs. Somebody will always have a stronger currency than others. However, it's going to take a minute because there are so many countries in the world that depend on the U.S. dollar, far more than those that depend on brick at this point in time. I'm not saying anything against brick, but I'm just saying that the United States, the U.S. dollar has a strong chokehold on a lot of countries as far as the use of the U.S. dollar as far as its currency is concerned. And trade exchange, that's what I mean by that. In trade exchange, not that they just use the dollar, but they use the dollar as a form of trade exchange. But we'll see. Basically, the de-dollarization, we'll see. And it looks like cryptocurrency will do it. I think cryptocurrency will do it faster than brick. I really do. I really think the flow that let's put it like this. United States hasn't changed any laws when it comes to brick. They haven't prepared themselves for brick, have they? But for crypto, these countries are moving around, changing laws, changing tax laws, doing all that they can to prepare themselves for the electronic dollars compared to the brick dollars. So yeah. He says, since for now, the strength helps us live in those countries. Yes, sir. I know I will be long. I even think our kids will be long gone by the time the U.S. dollar really, tumbles. I think there will be a shift because that's just how human nature throughout history has always done. But I do believe that it'll be a while. Even though I do believe that brick will develop. Yes, sir. Morning to you as well. Thank you, kind sir. Thank you very much. History with E.J. Wade. He said they have been talking about BRIC for 10 years. Yeah, they have. Technically, he's right. And they all still take the dollar. 'Tis true. And I forget how many millions, if not billions, that China has in US dollars. I mean, if you want to talk about contradicting yourself, you want to create a new currency. Yep. But yet you have billions. I think it's like $600 billion in US currency that they've collected. Now, they don't have it in paper currency, but what I'm saying is electronic currency in their banks, $600 billion. Like, okay, China. What you know about King T, Coach? Come on, man. Stop it, man. I just watched the King T interview with Dub C not even 3 weeks ago. Man, King T was the one that put the West Coast on the map for me. It was not NWA. I was a King T man back in the day. Way back. What dude sleeping on King T, man? King T playing like a piano. Come on now. Don't tell me what. I'm from the Midwest.
You better back the fuck up out my face, goddammit. I'm from Detroit, Michigan. Don't play with me.
Don't play with me. I know I'm an old school, new school hip hop dude, man. Yeah. Mr. Told you in the building. Shout out to you. Let me make sure I didn't miss anybody. Cygnus is in the building. Shout out to you as well, homie. He said, home is just where you're born. It's where it's where you make it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. He said 3/4 of Americans never live further than 100 miles from where they were born. 'Tis true. I came across that stat a few years ago. He's absolutely correct. Most y'all ain't going nowhere. I'll say it again. You'll live vicariously. Now, some people just, I got responsibility. I got family here. I got my kids here. I got responsibility. I'm with you on that one. I understand people in regards to that. We are a channel dedicated to those on the fence. You're close to, or you're already in economic position to where you can live in most places around the world, but you're on the fence of whether you should do it or not. That's what this channel is dedicated to, helping you make the decision on whether you should stay in the States for life or start traveling and see if there are other locations that can take care of you and that you'll enjoy for the rest of your days. I'm not just talking about vacation spots. This is not a vacation spot channel. I'll say it again. We dedicate ourselves to helping people, especially people of color. Shout out to my white brothers and sisters. But we're dedicated to helping people of color relocate to different locations around the world while you're vacationing. You might find a place where you say, you know what? I might like this spot. And they got good medical. So some guys might do that. Shout out to you guys. My man Kenneth in the building. He said, what's interesting about how black men talk negatively about passport bros is that they are seeking better opportunities for themselves outside of the United States. Black men hate in America. He said, a black man hate in America cannot be reprimanded. Or did I say that? Remedied, sorry. Remedied. It can't. That's another reason why, for you guys that are on the fence, if you're waiting for other black folks to believe in what your vision is and your goal is to live in another country, bruh, you think you're going to be waiting 180 years for black folks to get their equality, according to the Urban League, to get our equality in the United States? Bruh, you'll be waiting longer than that if you think that your black kinfolks and your black neighborhood and your partners in the barbershop and your partners that you go to the football game with and y'all barbecue with, if you think that you're going to wait to get the green light from the black community, you crazy. I don't know one brother or sister that's traveled that got the green light from the black community. All of us, no matter where you go, what's the number one thing they gonna say? You gonna get kidnapped. I'm going to Belize. You gonna get kidnapped in Belize. I'm moving down to Mexico. You gonna get kidnapped in Mexico. Okay, I'm going to the, Asia. You're gonna get kidnapped in Asia. Okay, I'm going to the motherland. You're gonna get kidnapped in Africa. That's all they got to lean on. They swear that they have been programmed. I'll say this again. Our loved ones that we love oh so much have been programmed to believe that everywhere they would go or we would go, you go get kidnapped. Number two thing that they tell you in the black community when it comes to traveling, ladies and gentlemen, you don't know nobody there. Who you know there? I came to Colombia. I ain't know nobody here. I didn't know Ace Live yet. You got people zooming to Thailand, ain't met Richie Mack yet, but yet they're enjoying themselves. Because the countries that we go to are countries that allow you to meet some really good people. That'll help you and to help you develop in that country. You don't always have to know somebody when you go somewhere, but all the scary people in the United States will tell you, who do you know there? You don't know nobody there. He's correct. It can't be remedied. It cannot be remedied. Let me scroll down to some more of these super chats. Shout out to you, brothers, because I know I think I missed some and I don't want to miss anybody. He said women love the benefits here and laws. I appreciate that. He's absolutely correct with that one. My man IQS is in the building. You know who else is in the building? That means that we also got Machismo TV.
Welcome to Machismo TV, the ultimate destination for modern men seeking to upgrade their lifestyle. Subscribe to Machismo TV and Saul T-Balls. We stream daily from 12 midnight to 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, the best male-centric content. Highlight reels without reviewing or providing any editorial bias to the content. We have done so much, with so little for so long, we are now qualified to do anything, with nothing.
IQS let us know that he was back in Japan. Appreciate that. And we got Donnie in the building with the $10. He said, oh yeah, we did the brick. Shout out to you, brother, once again. And we did Kenneth. Mr. I Told You, shout out from Lisbon, Port. Man, I even paid for a consultation for Portugal, but we ran out of time during our trip to Europe. So when we head back, we'll definitely be heading back to Portugal and Italy. He said, I'm retired. I have my residency. Hey, Mr. I Told You, we need to talk, brother. I need to get an interview. I'm going to put my email up. I need for you to shoot me an email, brother. Let me drop your comment. I'm going to put the email up. I need for you to shoot me an email. I'm going to come back to your comment. Shoot me an email, man. I want to schedule an interview with you because there are a lot of people that are relocating to Portugal from the United States. They call Portugal the California of Europe, not because of the cost, but because the way that it sits off the edge of Europe, just like California sits off the edge of the United States. California is right off of some of the best surfing waters in the world. So is Portugal, right off the edge of some of the best surfing waters in the world. Northern California is the cooler region. Southern California is the warmer region. Same thing with Portugal. So they call Portugal the California of Europe. And so a lot of Americans are relocating to Portugal, and the average person in Portugal is not making much money compared to Americans. And so it's just so much to see, so much to do. And they're finally working on, from the articles that I read, because I get the Euro news, they're finally working on a train system from Portugal to Spain. You think that they already have one, but Portugal to Spain they don't necessarily have a train, especially coming from Lisbon, have a train going from one major city to another. So to have a train going from Lisbon to Barcelona, or Lisbon going to Madrid, that would be nice. That would be nice. So shoot me an email, man. I'd love to schedule an interview with you, man, for the show. And he says I'm retired. He got that means residency visa is what I have here in Colombia. That means that he doesn't have to fill out any more visas. He's got the right to medical. He can purchase any type of insurance that he wants, start a business, establishing credit lines, all these things he can do. The only thing that he doesn't have the right to do right now, for the most part, is he doesn't have a passport and he doesn't have the right to vote. So his next step is Portuguese full citizenship, and whenever he's ready, whether it be in a year or two. I don't know what the laws are in Portugal. Here in Colombia, mine is in 2 years. I'll officially have my full-scale Colombian citizenship, even though I have everything. Even if I didn't want citizenship, I've got access to everything. I've got access to everything. The third thing that I don't have, the first thing I don't have is my dual citizenship, Colombian passport. I don't have that passport yet, but I get that with citizenship. The right to vote. But the other thing here in South America that I get that a lot of you guys don't realize is this. I'm going to come back to this in a second. In South America, all you need to do is show your ID and you can get into any country. But Venezuela. I'll say that again. South Americans have a treaty with each other. So instead of using my passport, all I have to do is show my ID. This is my cédula, right? Your cédula is your social security card and your ID in one. In the States, we have it separate. In Colombia, it's one. It's all one. And all I have to do is show my ID card, and I can get into any country. No passport needed. And I could be in that country as long as I want. Start businesses, buy a house, doesn't matter. Whenever I'm done with that country, Andre can do that right now. It's a treaty that the other 10 countries, even though South America is made up of 12 countries. Remember I said the only country you can't do that with is Venezuela. But the other country, no. For Colombians, it's Venezuela and Chile. So with Venezuela and Chile, you have to have a visa. So with the other 9 countries, Colombia has free access to. Just with the ID. Just with the ID. So I look forward to going to other countries in South America just with the ID. He said Brazil, Mozambique, Angola, and Cape Verde are heavily represented. Oh yeah. If you guys want to go to a celebration, the Afrobeats annual celebration in Portugal is a party of parties, concert of concerts. Some of your most well-known performers in the United States, as well as UK as well as especially Africa, perform at this festival every year, the Afrobeats Festival in Portugal, because there's a huge representation. And for all you guys that like Brazilian women, and you like, you know what, I'm in Europe, Portugal is the #1 relocation spot for Brazilians, because of course Portuguese. The #1 retirement spot for Brazilians is Portugal. So you got a lot of Brazilian women there as well. He said, as well as the rest of Europe. Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. When we were there, we saw a lot of our brothers and sisters in the regions. Mr. I told you so. He said, I went through the residency process here in Portugal, which, shout out to you again, brother, for the super chat. He said, which is similar throughout Europe. He said, no other country allows uncontrolled migration of people like the United States. Black people in America are being diluted. Yes, you are. They got a choice in the United States. They got a choice to look out for you, taxpayers, people of color, or the taxpayers, or the future taxpayers that they're looking out for that's coming through the borders. They already know what they can get from you. But watch how they treat these immigrants and how they sway votes and have control. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. Democrats trying to get back control when it comes to getting that immigrant vote, because they lost it. Most immigrants that have come to the United States of the last 50, 60 years vote Republican. Now Democrats are like, listen, remember, we're the ones that let you in. These are future taxpayers and future voters that they're letting into the borders. That's how they look at it. And you, brothers and sisters, they appreciate your vote, but we don't really need it like that. And they might not say it, but that's how they treat you. That's how they treat you. We got 109 people in the building. Click that like button. We like you. Make sure you like us too. Are you and Richie or Richard going to collab? Let me see. Richard. I'm reading a text from Richard. Richie, it's 11:30 over where he is, and he said he's getting sleepy. He's winding down. I had another guest that was supposed to come up. But I do know one thing. We're still going to start this process anyway. Let's just slow this music down. Or shout out to all you guys being here. 113 people in the building. I appreciate all of you guys being here. Let me make sure I got everybody. Let me scroll down. Shout out to my man Sid in the building. Love W in the building. Shout out to you, brother, for being here. He said, what it do? He said, I love it. At your own risk. Remix. King T. Yup. Man, brother, believe King. Man, y'all better leave us alone. We know about King T. Classic. Sam Mayer in the building. Sam Majors representing as well. Plantation Bros versus that's basically it. That's basically it. Plantation Bros versus Passport Bros. I'm gonna get through the intros, guys. Drew Junior World in the building. He said, I need to say this. I need to save this live stream. Been interested in citizenship in other countries outside of the United States for a while. Guarantee place not to come back to the United States. Yeah. I've only been in the 6 years that I've been gone. I've been back to the States once for 3 days. It would have been 2 if I didn't. I thought I had to have a COVID test, and so I stayed an extra day because I thought I had to go to Walgreens and get. Man, once I found out Colombia was like, you don't need a test to get back in, I was like, what? Man, I'm out. I went to the States, saw what I need to see, and guess what I saw? Nothing changed. The only thing that changed about the United States was me. I'll say that again. The only thing that advanced, the only thing that developed, the only thing that changed about the United States was me. I changed. And I was like I say all the time, the United States is the girl that I took to the prom. But she don't look like that no more. She don't look like that no more. She don't look like a prom date anymore. And so after a couple, all it took was me being there 2 days to realize, yeah, check out my family. Everybody good? Y'all good? Did a little bit of shopping. I was out. Everything and the funny part, even when it came to the shopping, everything that I was shopping for, I was getting on Amazon sent to Colombia anyway. So I'm like, it ain't like I'm missing out on anything. And I dang sure wasn't happy about eating the food. So yeah. Yep, I'm with you. MJ in the building. Shout out to MJ. He said blacks even moved to Russia in the 1920s. A lot of people sleeping on that. I've watched the documentary on blacks in Russia twice. There is an excellent documentary on YouTube, guys. 122 people in the building. We're about to get started with the content in a second, guys. Yes, he's absolutely correct. Blacks became prominent figures in Russia in the 1920s and the 1960s. During the documentary, it was amazing that the number one movie, one of the number one movies in Russian history, and they actually interviewed the child actor in this movie. When America was putting out Birth of a Nation, we know that movie, Birth of a Nation, with the Klansmen. During that time period, Russia was putting out a movie too. And that movie was about how the white Russian citizens were saving this little black boy from racism. Black and white movie, same era that movie came, that Birth of a Nation was coming out. Not same year, but that same time period. At the beginning of cinema, Russia put out their movie, and they were saving. The whole movie was about the rescuing of this little black boy from a racist individual villain that was trying to come against him. And how the everyday people were looking out and making sure the boy was saved and rescued. And they interviewed the guy. He was older, of course. They interviewed the guy that was the baby. During the 60s, after the wars and all those things, and during the 20s, they had opened up the doors for black people to come. And I kid you not, if you want to look up and some history that you'll be proud of, look up what black people did during the time period of Russia. You had black senators, black people in prominent positions in politics and news. in business. I'm talking about prominent. Well, before the civil rights movements and all that, it was brothers and sisters already killing the game in Europe and Russia. I kid you not. Now, I'm not hyping Russia up over the United States. What I'm saying is that when it came to us, there was an era where black people could have gone. And one of the quotes in the documentary that's on YouTube about blacks in Russia, black families and the history of blacks in Russia, is they said, we were surprised that more didn't come over. Russia said, we were surprised that looking at what you were dealing with on the plantation, we're surprised that more of you didn't come over when we were opening up doors. Now that I'm an expat, I'm not surprised. Fast forward from that time period when Russia made that statement to today. Black people ain't going nowhere. Why? Okay. All you foundational black folks that like to say we're fighting for change and all that. Okay, cool. I got you. I was one of those people too. Why should I give you change? You don't save money. You don't invest money like you should as a mass, so you have no economic power. Secondly, I could treat you like trash and you ain't going nowhere as a mass, as a group. Why should I give you rights that are equal to mine? Answer that one. We got 120 people in here. Answer that one. Why should I give you? You don't save your money to have economic power. You spend trillions every year. Every year. And if I treat you like trash, you ain't going nowhere. I can show you police brutality on the news all day long. You ain't going nowhere. I can show you that Pookie and Ray Ray have all these high birth rates. You ain't going nowhere. Your women are some of the most masculine women in human history. You ain't going nowhere. So why should I fight for you to have equality to me, as the white man would say, if you ain't fighting for your own equality? Why should I give it to you? Every other race is saving and having economic power to where if we don't do what they say, it could impact the United States economically. But not you folks. You buying up everything. Go ahead, keep buying your Jordans. Why should I give you economic power? Keep on buying billions in weaves. Why should I give you economic power? Keep on buying your gold chains and your diamond rings. Why should I give you economic power? Why should I make you equal to me? Says the white man. Plus, most of all, if I treat you like trash, you ain't going nowhere. You are that woman that gets her ass whooped every weekend when I come home drunk. Every weekend when I come home drunk with half my paycheck spent and gambled up, nothing to support and help you. I ain't bought your flowers in years. I've been stomping you every time I get drunk, but you ain't going nowhere. So why should the man that beats and abuses you treat you equal? Says the white man. Ain't nobody answering that one for me. See, if y'all were grabbing passports and going to other places in all sincerity, like a lot of these black families are doing, I'm seeing not brothers, not sisters. I'm seeing black families moving out. Bro, I saw an interview with a black family in Medellin. You know what these people moved to Medellin with? Welfare checks. These people were struggling in the States on welfare. You know welfare checks are direct deposit. So they ain't had to go to a bank to cash a check, a paper check. This whole family up and left and say, let's let the government keep on depositing them checks, them welfare checks. And they living in Medellin, Colombia right now. Whole family. I know one brother changed his whole life with unemployment checks. True story. He was an engineer, and the company that he was working for downsized dramatically. When he was on unemployment for those 6 months, took that money, moved to another country, learned the language, and been a teacher of that language for years, and only go back to the States periodically off of unemployment checks. Don't tell me what you can't do as a person of color, and ain't none of y'all on welfare, and ain't none of y'all on unemployment checks. Don't tell me what you can't do. And that's why Mr. Gilmore says, if you ain't gonna leave and you got money, why should I show you any respect? Why should I respect you if you taking these ass whoopings every other weekend? Through unfair taxation, through unfair representation. You taking these ass whoopings every other weekend and you ain't going nowhere. How many times have we seen one of our partners that we know do something crazy to his girl, and we be like, come on, dog, don't be doing nothing like that, man. Man, that shit, man, forget her, man. She ain't going nowhere. She ain't going nowhere, man. Forget her, man. Come on, let's go, dog. She ain't going nowhere. Man, let her cry, man. Let her cry. Man, say, hey, that's my woman. Leave her alone. Let her cry. That heifer ain't going nowhere anyway. She knows she belong to me. We know we've heard of or even know of people that are guys that are like that. Well, I'm telling you, there's a country that's like that sees you as that heifer that ain't gonna go nowhere. Let her cry. Let these black folks, let them cry. They ain't going nowhere. Let them cry. Leave them alone. That's mine. Leave them alone. What they tell you? If you don't vote for me, you ain't black. That's how bold they've gotten in their old age. If you don't vote for me, I might lose. Nope, he ain't say that. If you don't vote for me, the United States is gonna have some hard times. He ain't say that. He said, if you don't vote for me, you ninjas ain't black. Threw your race in your face. You know why? Because you that chick on the ground crying. Talking about I'm going to leave someday. I'm going to leave you. You ain't going to be putting your hands on me like you do all the time. You talk about you love me. You know you don't really love me. Y'all cry for years and years since the civil rights movement all the way until now. We still crying. It ain't going nowhere. And then you want to criticize the rest of us that's tired of them beatings for Mr. Gilmore. Getting our passports and relocating. Shout out to my man, Aaron. I'm about to get started with our guest in a split second. Shout out to Corey being here. We got 135 people about to get started with the live stream. We got my man, Aaron from Black Men's Travel. He said 2 visa extensions, than an application or than the application. Okay, cool. And he's talking about in regards to a person getting their visa as well as your citizenship in Portugal. Yeah, we're looking seriously about going that way. So make sure, Mr. Told you, make sure you email me in all sincerity. We got Jaws in the building. He said, I have a question, Andre. With Brazil placing a visa requirement on U.S., would that affect you even going to have your residency? No, has nothing to do with Colombia. Not at all. And when it comes to Brazil, we got my man Aaron in the building that can answer that question more than I can. Shout out to Aaron with the coffee. I can't hear you, A.
What's good, my man? How's everything going with you, my brother?
That's my man right there. I can hear you loud and clear now. Let me turn this music down a little bit.
Okay.
Make it even better. I'm going to turn it down right here to maybe like an 8. So, yeah, shout out to you. Someone had a question that I just had pulled up.
Okay.
And it was about, I think I took it down, but it was about Brazil. And it's, here it is. He said, I have a question, Andre. With Brazil placing a visa requirement on U.S. citizens, would that affect you even though you have your residency in Colombia? And I said, actually, now I understand the question. Yes, because I'm not officially a full Colombian citizen, I have residency. I still have to, in other words, I still have to use my American passport. And since I have to use my American passport, that still affects me.
I see what they were asking you, are you under that agreement, I believe, like, because Colombians can go to Brazil, Brazilians can go to Colombia and everything. But since you're an American citizen, technically you still have to, utilize the visa, which I think starts in April.
Yep.
Way. So
yeah, they did. I think they pushed it. Did they push it back? Was it?
Yeah, for some reason they keep pushing it back. I don't know why, but I believe you still can do the e-visa, which is a whole lot more convenient. Didn't have to, rezone arrival and have to show them all your bank account and show them different statements. It's a little easier to do it that way.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Let's change the music up. Let me see.
But Andre, man, you was hot fire, brother. I had to tap in, man. I love these conversations, man, because you're speaking, and I tell guys this sometimes about the official passport, bros. You're speaking beyond the surface level. A lot of guys talk surface level conversations that we've been having for the last 5 to 10 years, but a lot of people don't know the passport, bros, came about because we went beyond the surface level of just speaking back and forth on how bad the women are in the States and this woe is me conversations that they were having kind of in that black manosphere. I used to tell people all the time, I'm like, man, we are kind of like procrastinating here. Like, we're not offering any solutions to the guys. We're just stating the problem. And guys made whole YouTube channels off of just stating the problem over and over again, right? 8-hour streams of guys just complaining about what was going on in the States, right? And when I came initially, to these streams, and I said, hey, man, I just got back from Brazil. I'm telling you guys, we ain't got to deal with this stuff over here. We can use our passports. Our money goes a whole lot further. Yeah, we got to learn a different language, but it's highly beneficial for you to start your legacy overseas instead of in the States where all the laws are jacked up. They ran me off these panels, bro. I promise you. Like, I was the first over the hill to take the arrows, right? I was talking beyond the surface level. I was like, bro, we are men. Like, okay, we diagnose the problem. We get it. The laws is jacked up. Okay, Black Americans, let's keep it real. When people say things like Wakanda, I have to kind of correct them. They say Atlanta is Wakanda. I said, no, bro. Atlanta is a tax base for Southern politicians. Let's keep it above 50. Atlanta is surrounded by some of the most racist counties in America, right? You can't go north, south, east, or west without running into the Klan. Some people don't know that because they moving to Atlanta, but everybody that grew up in Atlanta knows we are surrounded by the most racist people in the world, right? Can't go to Boughton, can't go to Carroll, like we're just surrounded because what they are is it's basically a tax base. And what Black Americans don't understand is You have been designated as the lower class tax base of a country. That's what you're there for. That's why they don't really care about what happens to you or any type of benefits for you or specific benefits to go to you. You know, this whole FBA thing, I identify with it and I understand it, but where is our leverage? What industry do we control that we can say to America, hey, if you don't give us reparations, we're going to withhold the rubber industry from you. So you can't.
Right. Absolutely correct. Did I freeze or did I think BMT froze for a second. But he's absolutely correct in regards to what I was saying earlier regarding that we spend $1 trillion every year, but we don't use any of that money for our. I'm gonna drop BMT off and bring him back up. So let him drop off, and then let you come back. Come back up. Yeah, I know. I noticed that he froze because he's in DR right now, and I know how that island, how island can be. So let me hit him real quick. And he says absolutely the same thing over here in the Netherlands. Wow. You got black people in the Netherlands. I did know that. Met a brother about a month or two ago from that area. Brother was tall too. And shout out to BMT. And he said that the exact same thing is happening in the Netherlands that you were describing, as far as black people not having power.
Right. And apologies on that, man. You know I'm on my Dominican Wi-Fi, so
we just said the same thing.
Yeah, but I mean, these are good conversations to have because it all starts off with a conversation. As people might try to minimize it, but I can tell you right now, when they ran the Moors out of southern Spain, it started with a conversation when they said, "Hey, look around. Everybody's getting darker. Can't you tell? Everybody's getting darker because the Moors was really, they were breeding them out basically."
Yep.
So
yes, they were.
They was like, you know what? We're gonna have to get them on up out of here, or we're gonna become a black nation. Yep. So it starts with these conversations, and like I say, I like the delineation of foundational Black Americans. I understand that we diagnosed the problem and everything about Black America, but the thing is, in this world, is very, and we all know who's kind of controlling the strings to a certain degree. But in this world, it's a world of leverage. What do you bring to the table? What's your negotiation? What's your bargaining chip? And as Black Americans, we have none. We gave them all away during civil rights. Believe it or not, we gained rights, but also lost a lot. We don't have any industries to kind of just say, hey guys, if you don't negotiate with us and give us what we need or protect us, then we're going to withhold this from you. We have nothing to withhold, zero. And you can see it by all the immigration that's going on. They pretty much just like, hey, we're going to give these immigrants $5,000 a month, free health care, and you Black folks, hey, we're going to just tax y'all 30-40% like we've been doing. Shut the hell up. Vote, Democrat, do what y'all do. Go over there somewhere. Right. We don't care.
That's right. That's
like
right.
You were saying earlier.
They just really don't care. Shout out to my man Charles. We're gonna hit these super chats real quick, and then we're gonna go to the video that I really want to share. And I want you to be here to see that. He said, "I'm retired. What is the best city in the world?" I would say the best city in the world for you to relocate to is the city that is based upon what your needs are. And I know that Aaron might say the same thing. You might be a person that is a real person. Some other people are Salvador, Brazil, if I pronounced it correctly, person. You might be a person that is, you might want a small town in Mexico like the lead attorney did for 6 years. Or you might be a person that might want to go to an island like Dominican Republic and be in a great location such as Santo Domingo. So the best city in the world is the one that caters to you. What do you have to say about that, Aaron?
Exactly, man. As a matter of fact, me and Austin was talking not too long ago, and he was asking me, he was like, hey, man, I'm ready to kind of sell on in. What city do you think? I said, that really depends on you and what you're looking for. You know, I mean, it's a lot of different cities. You can go to Brazil. You might be more of the Manhattan type vibe. You can go to Sao Paulo. Or if you're a beach guy, you can go to Rio. If you want to be a little bit more laid back, not so touristy, you can go to Salvador Bahia. Or you can say, hey, South America, not my vibe, really. I want to go to Asia. You can hop over to, on the plane to Asia. They got little different cities all over the world. You just got to find, kind of what you're looking for. And if you like it also depends on your relationship status. Because if you're looking for a woman, that might kind of give you some type of guidance of where you want to go to. You might want to say, okay, I like African women, so I'm gonna go to Kenya. So it all depends on what you're looking for, really.
And the other thing is, I use the bat cave theory.
Mm-hmm.
Just because, and Aaron, you're a perfect example of what I'm about to say.
Mm-hmm.
Always remember, just because you found your bat cave or the place that you consider home, doesn't mean that you can't travel 6 months here, 3 months there, a month here. So always remember that. Don't take that mentality, because a lot of Americans do this. We'll go to a country or city and we'll settle there and we'll sit there like we were sitting in the United States. Okay, I found my one area. I'm in Portugal, Lisbon, Portugal. And you don't go visit all the other countries that's all around there. Don't be like that. Go visit these locations. Go visit. Now you're closer to Africa. Go visit Africa if you're living in Lisbon, if you're living in Spain, if you're living in Italy. You're right there. So go. So just because you found a home base, your bat cave, doesn't mean that you can't continue to travel. Since I've moved to Colombia, just Colombia alone, I was already traveling prior to that. But since I moved to Colombia alone, me and my wife have been to like maybe 10 countries.
Mm-hmm.
So just like Aaron does, he may find a base, but he travels around and enjoys this planet for what it is. He continues to get his tattoos on his passport. Am I correct?
Absolutely correct, man. I love like being able to just take an hour flight and go to a different country and get another stamp. Flight here, flight there. That's the beautiful benefit of, like I said, you go to Southeast Asia, you can go to Bali, Malaysia, Cambodia, Vietnam, go to Brazil, you can go to other spots. I really like this area I'm in now in Santo Domingo because it has an international airport and I can just kind of skip over. I can go to Colombia, it's like for $100, which is an hour and a half flight. I can go to Brazil, it's a couple of $100 more. And, so I love being right in this Caribbean area right here because you kind of like smack dab in the middle everywhere you want to go. You can either fly up through America, through the East Coast, and go to East Africa or wherever part of Africa, or you can fly up through America to the West Coast and then you'll be in Southeast Asia. So this is like the perfect little hub for a guy like me that likes to kind of travel around, I love it, man.
True. Like I said, that bat cave that you can enjoy, that's very modern, good hospitals in that area, good people in the area as well. And so when a person wants to travel, you can leave the bat cave or your home base, in other words, and enjoy the rest of the world and come back. So that's the cool thing about it. Shout out to my man James Wingate in the building. Shout out to you, Jay. He said, just checking in and showing some love. Shout out to you. And we got my boy, Mad Dollars, them Canadian boys.
I told this guy where I was from. He said, oh, Canada.
Them Canadian boys as a kid. I know, right? He said one of the Canadian brothers showing support. And we got Machismo TV. You cooking. Thanks for all your support. Thank you, Machismo TV, for always showing your support and always showing up.
Welcome to Machismo TV, the ultimate destination for modern men seeking to upgrade their lifestyle. Subscribe to Machismo TV and Saul T-Balls. We stream daily from 12 midnight to 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, the best male-centric content. Highlight reels without reviewing or providing any editorial bias to the content. We have done so much. With so little for so long, we are now qualified to do anything with nothing.
And also, I gotta always make sure to support my Detroit brothers anyway, so you already know that.
You better back the fuck up out my face, goddammit. I'm from Detroit, Michigan. Don't play with me.
Don't play with them Detroit brothers. Don't play. See, you cooking. Them 313 boys at it again. If we could just get our Pistons on track, we'll probably have a good city. Shout out to my man Black Scorpion in the building as well with the $5. He says from the old 4th Ward, East Lake, BMT kicking straight facts. Yes,
East
sir.
Side, East Atlanta, what up?
There we go. Them boys in the A. Them boys in the A.
Yes, sir. There you go. There you go. Hey,
you think I had you boys in the building? Come on now.
There you go. There you go, man.
I had to look out for them Atlanta boys. I had to look out for y'all, them dirty South boys. Shout out,
man,
to
Andre. You know what's so powerful, bro? A lot of people don't understand is that before we started traveling, really, and started speaking internationally, I think we were kind of segmented a little bit in the States, right? Like you was the Midwest, I was the down south. We kind of saw each other. It was just like, oh yeah, that's my boy. This guy from Detroit. They from Detroit over there, you know.
Detroit,
like Southern boys, they're a little slow. You know, we used to kind of take little jigs at each other. But now we're speaking internationally. I love the fact that we can kind of come together when we overseas now. It's just like, oh, you from Detroit? I'm from Chicago. I'm from Atlanta. What's up, bro? Like, it's all love now. I
do love that, man. I won't lie. I'm a fan of. I won't lie. I'm a fan of even appreciating meeting all you guys that are in the chat. If it wasn't for the passport, I wouldn't know you guys. I wouldn't know my wife. I wouldn't know Aaron. I wouldn't know Ace Live, Richie Mack, Taylor Major. All these guys that got my phone from lead, not lead attorney, but from Austin Holloman all the way down to the attorney. Oh man, I'm looking. Dennis Sperling, the Blizzard King. You know, all these people that I'm a fan of, but now, you know, like BMT, they're in my phone and I communicate with these guys just based off of my passport. Just because I took the time out to explore, I met other adventurers, and it's a privilege, man. I mean, it's an honor. It really is of knowing all you men and all the women that we have met in our short journey. Because a lot of guys, you know, have been doing this 30, 40 years, and I haven't been doing it as long as they have. But the results of it is showcasing. Let's go to this video real quick. Once again, the Urban League. Let me shut that down real quick. Let me move over here. And this video was from yesterday. And the Urban League put this out regarding Black folk, the stage of Black folks. Let me stop that real quick. I meant to push pause, my bad. And let me pull us back up over here. And now let's go to the video. And I'm going to turn this music down just a little bit more to maybe 6:05. That's even better. Now, this is the interview with the president of the Urban League after the Urban League released its annual State of the Black Union or the Black Nation report yesterday. And it has some good news, but it has some challenging news. And so let's listen to what he had to say. Can you hear it? Okay, give me a second, guys. You said no audio. Okay, I'm going to take it down, then I'm going to bring it back up. Thanks, guys. I thought it was no audio. I thought it was just me. Okay, so let me bring it back up into the studio. That was me. Okay, so let me bring it back, bring that beat back, and bring BMT back in.
President Lyndon B. Johnson addressing the country.
Let me pause that, bring BMT back into the studio. That was my fault, BMT.
Oh, it's all good, bro.
So thanks guys for letting me know there was no sound. Now we're back.
Country right before he signed the Civil Rights Act of 1964 into law. That landmark piece of legislation made it illegal to discriminate based on race and color, religion, sex, and national origin. 60 years later, the National Urban League says there's still work to be done. It is all outlined in its 2024 State of Black America report that comes out today. Now, this report assesses how Black Americans are faring economically and socially compared to white Americans. They gave it a score of just under 76%. 100% would be full equality. The president of the National Urban League, Mark Morial, joined.
We're going to pause that for a split second. I'm going to bring that beat back for a second. I want you guys to see that. So right now, Black America, based on our grading, used to be worse than that. But when it comes to equality in the United States in 2024, we are at 76%, 75.5%. Now, based on the article, I'm going to read some of the stuff that he's going to mention on the article. It says that right now, when it comes to the Black family, we talked about this last night, Black families, whether it be led by men, women, or jointly, on average, we bring in about $45,000 a year. That's it. We're not talking about you as an individual, because I know some of you bring in quite a lot more than that. But as a unit, we only bring in per family $45,000 a year. But for whites, it is $75,000 a year per family. So we're only at the crossroads of just 76% of what white people have acquired or have accomplished and continue to accomplish. And they say that, and he's going to mention this in the video, that it's going to take us 180 years based on how the laws are in development in the areas that he's going to be discussing. They say this in the article. It says the National Urban League report evaluation data includes unemployment in the Black community, death rate, health insurance coverage, and economic indicators. So when you see that 76%, that's what they're talking about. Our job market, our death rate, our health insurance coverage, Black people, and our economic indicators. And it puts us at 76% of what the average white family is getting. We're only at $45,000 a year. So let's go back to the video. I just want you guys to know that. So some of us have the myth of thinking that it's more than that, but it's not.
100% would be full equality. The president of the National Urban League, Mark Morial, joins us at the table. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Morial.
Great to be with you.
Yes, you are well known in this building, also known as Michelle Miller's better half.
Michelle Miller.
Yeah, Mr. Michelle Miller, if you please. We're very glad to have you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
76% when I was in school was a C+, never a grade. I used to get in trouble for getting a grade of a C+. How did you come up with this score? What exactly does it mean?
So thanks for having me and good morning. We look at 300 data sets, and those data sets include everything from unemployment rates, death rates, health insurance pickup rates, capital formation rates, and when we put them all together, they are in an index. And so the status of white Americans is at 1, and Black Americans is a percentage of 1. So the comparative would be, let's look at family income. Median family income for Blacks, maybe $45,000, maybe for whites, $75,000. So that's a fundamental idea what the comparison is. And so that 75% represents, Gail, a little bit of a change over the last 3 or 4 years. But at that rate, we're 180 years away from parity.
That's the number that drew my attention, 180 years. Why, Mark?
But
How?
let's say this, the civil rights.
Now, mind you, what I just mentioned, once again, he just said it. We are 180 years away from equality. And as I mentioned earlier, I don't know about Aaron and his great-grandkids and grandkids. And I don't know about my grandkids or great-grandkids. But I do know one thing. I don't have time to wait 180 years in the United States for things to get equal. My great-grandkids don't have time to wait 180 years, and their grandkids will be the ones to see equality for blacks in the United States after that 180 years. I don't have that amount of time. I mean, let's put it like this. It's been right around that window since the ending of slavery in the late 1800s. That just gives you a window of what we're discussing, what Aaron and I are discussing. So when he says it's going to take 180 years, just look at it from the perspective of when slavery ended in the late 1800s and what has not occurred and how much longer it will take for no matter after all the protesting, after us becoming more into politics, even if they have 2 or 3 more black presidents, it'll still take 180 years to get to that point of equality. Let's continue on.
Rights Act of 64 that President Johnson signed has had a dramatic impact on America. Look at you and Nate. Look at others who work here at CBS. It's just an example. There were no blacks. There were no women sitting at any anchor desk in 1964. I think one of the reasons is because while there are those who push for progress, there have also been those who push against progress. Witness today the over 1,000 bills that have been introduced at state legislatures to make it more difficult for people to vote. Witness today the effort to, in effect, push back on DE&I, which is simply an effort to push back on equal economic opportunity. I mean, there is a resistance movement to the kinds of change that the nation needs. And there was one in 1964, and there's one in 2024, and it's intensified.
Yeah, 180 years seems like a daunting number to look at.
Because none of us will be here.
Right.
In this room.
Right. Is there a way for us to narrow that gap in those areas quicker than that?
I think we could accelerate by, number one, ensuring that the access to the right to vote and democracy is unfettered. Number two, by taking a hard line to address the issues of economics, poverty, the economic divide, and the racial wealth divide. I think we also can make a difference if we focus on children. For example, the child tax credit, which passed in the early days of the Biden administration, but then expired, cut child poverty by 1/2 in a short period of time.
Now, let's pause for a split second. What he means by the child tax credit, remember when President Biden first became president and we were getting stimulus money from President Trump, those first couple of checks, President Biden got us that $1,400 check, which should have been $2,000, but he lied and tried to say, well, $600 of that $2,000 came from President Trump. But at the end of the day, they also, during the Biden administration in 2021 and early 2022, passed a child tax credit that they were giving families per child up to $300 a month. That, for that time period, or that 2021, it pushed blacks and whites a huge amount out of poverty, just an extra $300 a month per child. But it had an expiration time period on it, and it fell by the wayside. What he's saying is one of the things that they need to do and bring back is that child tax credit and make it permanent to where you can bring up to 50% of minorities out of poverty just by doing what they did during the early part of the Biden administration. So that's what he's talking about now.
There are things that we can do. Look, what's dramatic is that the Civil Rights Act of 64, the Voting Rights Act of 65, the Great Society programs in the middle 1960s probably cut the American poverty rate in half in a 15-year period. So can we?
There are
yes,
ways.
there are ways.
So we're gonna stop right there. I forget what this video is. Oh, this next video is about, I'm giving you some examples of what's going to be taking a while to change. We just talked about economic change. I already saw for L Grimm. Shout out to L Grimm in the building. We're gonna get to the other super chats as well. But he says, "What up, Doe? Dre?" He said, "My question is, how can the average salary?" Now remember, he didn't talk about salary. He talked about the annual economic value of a family. He talked about, because the article tells you, and it didn't say salary. It says unemployment rate, death rate impacting blacks and whites, health insurance that impacts blacks and whites, and economic indicators that gives you our net worth on an annual basis. That's what they're talking about. They're not talking about your salary. They're talking about that at the end of the year, the average net worth or the average value of a black family in the United States is only $43,000 a year. But at the end of the year for a white family, it's $75,000 a year. Means that, you know, when you look up your favorite NBA player, what is their net worth? Well, the average net worth at the end of the year for the average black family is only $43,000. That's it. 45,000. I'm sorry, 45,000. So you can make money, yes, but also remember this: 1/3 of all individuals that make $250,000 in the United States are living paycheck to paycheck. 25% of those that are making $100,000 a year in the United States are living paycheck to paycheck. So just because a person is making the wages, at the end of the year, how much they are worth after all those wages. And that's what the report is about. At the end of the year, how much are we worth as a black unit or a black family, if only as a black family? How much is each one on average worth at the end of the year? Even though we might make a certain amount of a salary. But that was a good question to bring some clarity. He said the average salary for black men is $50,000, but the average family is average family be 45. I think the stats is single moms. Nope. At the end of the year, after making all that money, the average family ends up being worth only $43,000 after making that money. The next video that we're going to watch, salute to you guys being here. And like I said, I'm laying foundations. We're not even going to watch that video yet. I want to show you something real quick that makes it harder for a lot of people of color to remain in the States. And that's what our point is. We're going to take a look at the average down payment for a home in the United States. The average down payment for a home in the United States. So even if you don't think any of what they just said, the Urban League is saying makes it difficult. Here's another thing that makes it a little bit tempestuous. Now we're not looking for fear or trying to create fear. Like I said, this channel is for men and women that are on the fence of deciding whether they want to explore their options in other countries. And if you want to stay in the United States, there's nothing wrong with that. But we're going to give you the true facts about if you stay. Here's another fact that if you want to stay, nothing wrong with it. Once again, I understand. This is the median down payment for a house in the United States. This article just came out a couple days ago, February 26, 2024. Here we go. The lowest is $5,800. The highest is almost $99,000. So let's take a look. And if you get a chance to come back up, Aaron, you know, we'll always want you to be here. In Washington, the state of Washington, almost $87,000 just for a down payment. But in Illinois, it is $27,000 on average. State of Michigan, my home state, $23,000, just the down payment. I'm going to say this again. We're just talking about the down payment, not the cost of the house itself. The highest ones, let's look at New York, 51, almost 51,000 for a down payment of a home. In Hawaii, the two that are the highest, or some of the highest, are Hawaii and Florida. At almost $99,000, almost $100,000, that will be your down payment for a house in Florida. How many of y'all got $100,000 sitting on the side for the down payment? How many of you got credit good enough to get a $100,000? Okay, let's put it like this. Maybe you do, but how many of us know that there are plenty in our communities that can't afford that $100,000 down payment or feel like it's not worth it? You put a $100,000 down payment on a home in the United States on a 20 or 30-year fixed mortgage. You feel like if I paid $100,000 for something, I shouldn't be having a mortgage ever. And yet you do if you decide to buy a piece of property in the United States where you could take that. And let's put it like this. For the most part, we don't realize that earth is earth is earth. And if there's a country that allows you to buy several pieces of earth compared to a country that lets you barely afford one piece of earth, I'd rather be in a country that I can use that $100K to buy one or two pieces of earth compared to being in a country where I can only afford one piece of earth. And if I slip off for a few months in that country, I lose everything. You put down $100,000 in Florida. Times get tight for you in about 12 years. You haven't missed a payment or anything. But times get tight for you for about good 3 or 4 months in 12 years. You never expected it. You could lose that house that you put $100,000 on when you could be in another country with that $100,000 and walk away with something really nice, if not 2 or 3. You see where I'm going with that? Even I'm just talking about using your down payment money. I'm not talking about the price of the property. I'm just saying what you could have did with that down payment money in another country. The most expensive one, let's go there. Washington, D.C. is right up there with Florida, Hawaii, and Florida, Hawaii, and Washington are all one. The same price, $99,000 as a down payment for your piece of property. Like I said, this article just came out. You know me, I like to share receipts. So I'm going to drop this article into the comment section. Jay says, hey, Andre and Aaron, heading to lunch with the wifey. Got to check out the rest of the show later. Yes, sir. We're going to be wrapping this one up real soon anyway. Yeah, Yep. Bring back the family. Bring back the family. Yes, sir. Shout out to my man Iman in the building. He said, Passport Bros disrupting the entire system. Yes, they were not expecting this in the black community. Shout out to Floyd. He said they focus heavy attention and resources on black mothers who contributed to the destruction of the black household. 'Tis true. Not only you ladies, we're not just saying you ladies alone, but you did have an impact just like we did as well. Yet still want to increase tax refunds instead of helping black fathers. You would think, right? Israel Washington says, Mark Morrow is a joke. Karen Hunt, see, we're not talking about specific politicians here, but I agree with you to a certain extent, but we're not talking about specific politicians. We're just talking about that there is some issues. Shout out to my man Jay in the building. Shout out to you being here. Let's go to these super chats real quick. Let's get back to where we were with the super chats. Cheesemo TV, them Detroit boys. We did Black Scorpion. But then we got my boy in the building, Salty Ball. Sponsor of the day with the $100 super chat. Shout out to you, brother. Shout out to you for being here. And shout out to Machismo TV.
Welcome to Machismo TV, the ultimate destination for modern men seeking to upgrade their lifestyle. Subscribe to Machismo TV and Saul T-Balls. We stream daily from 12 midnight to 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, the best male-centric content. Highlight reels without reviewing or providing any editorial bias to the content. We have done so much, with so little for so long, we are now qualified to do anything, with nothing.
Make sure that you guys are dropping the link. I hope you guys have been dropping the link to Machismo TV. It is, like he says, from 12 midnight to 8 in the morning. It is dedicated to you third shift guys, such as myself. You guys don't realize when the cameras go off, I'm still working, so I'm watching these guys. And so it's dedicated to you third shifters, and I'm telling you, great content, man. Salty Balls channel, great content. Moderators, even you new moderators, make sure that you drop the links to Salty Balls channel, as well as, shout out to Saul being here, as well as to Machismo TV. Because these guys in these channels are doing some excellent late night work. The work for great content does not just happen during the day, gentlemen. There are guys that are out there putting out some great content in the early and late evenings. All right. Shout out to my man Morning Drive Coffee Break. He said, shout out to BMT. Keep good content going. Once again, when it comes to the content today, we're not fear mongering. This is just for guys that are on the fence of the next 5 months. Do you want to relocate or start traveling outside the United States in the next 5 years? Because you might have the kids or your family to take care of, your mom or your dad. Or in the next 15 years. Whenever I'm thinking about content, I'm always thinking about you guys that are on the fence of whether you want to leave the United States within the next year, the next 5 years, or the next 15 years. You know, some of you may have a daughter and she's only 9 years old. So, you know, you've got a time to go before you full-time move out. Some of you guys are like, you know what? My kids are self-sustaining and they want their passports and travel. So it may be sooner. Some of you guys, like me and others, you may not have children or family responsibilities as far as kids, but you may have your parents or grandparents that you're taking care of. So it may take you a few years before you leave, but you still need to know this information. Why? Because it's not going to change. I'm saying this in this way. Things are not, I'm going to come back to your comment. Shout out to you. I'm going to come back to you in a second, Elgram. I actually read yours. Things aren't going to get better. We can pull out our bullhorns. I was a bullhorn dude in the States. I was not the dude just with the picket sign. I literally was the dude out there, Tampa, Florida, on Hillsborough Avenue with my bullhorn in the morning with the rest of the brothers and sisters Saturday in Tampa Heat. And since I had the biggest mouth and I was bold enough, I'm the one with the bullhorn. Yeah, I had a big mouth in Tampa too. Instead of taking lunch breaks, I'm down at this. As soon as I take a lunch break, I'm shooting down. I'm telling my boss, okay, I got a meeting downtown. I'm going to be late from come back from lunch. I got to go see Senator so-and-so. He just got in from Orlando. And so I have a meeting with him and with a couple other brothers and sisters. Okay, sure, Dre, no problem. So instead of eating lunch, I'm starving down at the city county building because I want to see Senator so-and-so about a particular issue that a couple of us brothers and sisters have. I'm volunteering at high schools, junior high schools. Dude, I mentioned to y'all before, when I was in prison for those 10 years, my last 2 years, and I've never seen this happen before or after. I never saw this in a movie or nothing. I never even knew they did this. My last 2 years, I traveled the country as a prisoner, going to high schools, talking to kids. In my federal prison badge. See, in the feds, you're wearing beige. Now, if you haven't been convicted, you're wearing the orange until your conviction, and you go to the prison and you get the orange, the beige top and the bottom. And I had regular tennis shoes on. And they heard me speaking, and I was a school teacher in the feds. That was my job. I was a school teacher. I helped guys get their GED, and I helped put them in college when they were allowing guys to go to college in prison. That was my job. So I did it all those years. And because they were so used to seeing me speaking, and they need to have somebody that could go out and talk to some of the kids to keep them out of trouble in schools, guess who they volunteered? Andre woke me up one morning, come with us. Talk to these kids. So now, my last 2 years in prison, I'm at the juvenile centers, I'm at juvenile courts, I'm at high schools, and I'm at colleges speaking. In prison guards across the country as a prisoner. What am I saying? I put in my work to help change the community. It's not going to get better. I can tell you from behind the scenes, and I can tell you just as an everyday American brother, it's not going to get better. So you got a choice. You can stay there and deal with what's going on. Like I said, we're not fear-mongering. We're giving you facts. So you can keep your butt there. Ain't nothing wrong with being in the States. I love the United States. But to act like it's going to get better, ooh, child, things are going to get easier. Has it gotten easier? Ooh, child, things will get brighter. Has it gotten brighter? Someday. Has someday come? We'll come together and we'll get it all done. Have we? Have we come together to get it all done? So do not think that I'm talking as if I'm trying to convince you of we all must come together and leave. Most of y'all don't even go to another city, least long going to another country. I'm not talking to you at all. I'm not talking to the individuals that I know that are only watching us for entertainment. Nothing wrong with that. You will never leave your city. I was born and raised in the heart of Texas. And I die here. I'm 9th generation Texan. And this is where my people belong. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. But for those of us that see that it's not going to get better, ooh, child, and things aren't going to get easier, Our job on this channel is to let you know you have options and opportunities waiting for you on a global basis. And you guys, cameras off, cut the cameras off. Once these cameras are off, you guys have never seen me struggle. You've never seen me come back on here and like, guys, we've lost it all. We're broke. And even if I did lose it all, I ain't going back to the States. You can forget that. There are so many online opportunities now. I'm not going back. I can forget about that one. You'll come back to this. Oh, no, I won't. That's a lie and a half. I won't be coming back. I'll visit. I'm a tourist in my home country. I'll come to the United States like with a camera. Oh, wow. That building wasn't there when I was here last. Wow. Look at the kids. They've grown. That's me. I'm a tourist when I go back to the United States. I'll be looking around like, wow. You'd have really thought I was born in another country because so much development is taking place. So much development is taking place. Now, the next video we're going to look at before we end it all, because we're going to end in 15 minutes at 12 o'clock. I mean, at 1 o'clock, you guys' time. He said, thanks for the link, Dre. Oh, yeah. You know me. I always got to bring receipts. Carl, shout out to Carl being in the building and my man, Chad Tyrone, once again. Carl says, I'm in DR right now, Santo Domingo, enjoying the summer breeze. Man, I like me some Santo. The only thing that I didn't like about Santo Domingo, which is not bad, Santo Domingo is a little hotter than the Playa area, the northern area. You can tell the difference between the weather in northern DR compared to Santo Domingo, which is more like in the southern region. But do not get it twisted. We loved Santo Domingo. We went to that city twice. We could have went anywhere else, but we were like, let's go back to Santo Domingo. We went all over DR and brought it right on back to Santo Domingo. We had a really, really good time there. A suggestion to have a topic on is opportunities in men's sexual health. That is a good idea. You guys gave me a topic last night. He's absolutely correct. Guys want to come and have sex. Nothing wrong with that. But make sure that you also look out for your sexual health as well. Your stamina. You like the young ladies, you better be able to keep it up. He said, America is an ATM. Go get your bag and leave. Anubis is correct. Treat it for what it is. America was built to be a corporation. Treat it like that. There's nothing wrong with that. The beauty of America is our capitalism. Our democracy is that's questionable how sometimes we use it, but I'm glad we have it. But we are a capitalistic country, and we've always been proud of that from day one. Always been capital. Okay. You want to know one of the founding things that America capitalized on? You ready? Cotton. Now, we look at cotton like slavery, cotton. Okay, that's obvious. No. How did America become number one in the world for the exportation of cotton? Who was number one prior to? Russia. Do your homework. Russia was the number one supplier of cotton around the world. Couldn't nobody touch them. And they tried to do so. I forgot what it was, but they tried to do something that to expect. Yep, there you go. Man, dollars in the building, Canadian boys. That's what I'm talking about right there.
I told this guy where I was from. He said, oh, Canada.
Yes, sir. Russia. For all you guys that are historical buffs, man, shout out to you, man. I forgot what it was that took place that caused Russia to tumble. And there was nobody else to fill the void. And America was like, we'll do it. And America capitalized on a moment in time Now, how they went about it, of course, we don't agree with it, but they still capitalized. That's what my point in that statement is. They took advantage of a moment in time and they ran with it and built banks off that money and built major corporations off of that slave money, off of that slave as well as cotton money and beyond. There's nothing wrong being in a capitalistic society, but treat it as such. Stop trying to treat it like it's a country. It's not a country. The land itself is a country. The people are Americans. We are Americans. But at the end of the day, we are a corporation. America, the corporation. It's all about that mighty dollar in our country. We know it. We'll sit back and we'll say, don't say that. I'm American. I can say that. We're about the money, and there's nothing wrong with that. The family, that's questionable. We ain't famous around the world for our family unity, but we are famous for creating products and services and selling them. That's what we do. And there's nothing wrong with that. Take advantage of it. And then, as our brother said, then skedaddle. Find you a place that's your home base. I was just reading an article on James Baldwin, Langston Hughes, Nina Simone, Josephine Baker, all the people that you see, many of the people that you see on the passports on the introduction of our show, even Stokely Carmichael, a lot of people that were famous advocates and fought the good fight in America left, moved to somewhere in Europe, South America, and other areas. Says excessive Cold War military spending. Yeah, that could be it. Shout out to you, Passport Life, being in the building. My man Mark Chapman of the Chapman family. It is certainly helping. It certainly helps having a nearly free labor force to help the U.S. economy. Yes, and U.S. economy still has free labor force. Yes, the U.S. economy has 9 million slaves by law. By law. U.S. has over 9 million people incarcerated. More people incarcerated. Let me make sure I got my number correct. I know we got 9 million expats. I think it's either 2 million or 9 million. Let me see. How many people are incarcerated in the United States currently? Okay, I was correct the second time. 1.9, 2 billion people. I know we have more people than anybody else. We have 9 million expats. So we got 2 million slaves in the United States. As of March 2023, 1.9 million people are incarcerated in the United States, whether it be county jails, juvenile centers, federal prison, and state prisons. And according to the law, according to the Constitution, anybody that's incarcerated in the United States is equivalent to a slave, free labor. Now, yeah, to be fair, in the United States, in the prisons, they throw you a few pennies here and there for commissary. But technically, by the laws of I believe the 13th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, you, my friend, or myself for 10 years was, you know how they moved it to 12 years a slave? I was 10 years a slave. The wages that they gave me was little next to nothing. and anybody else that's in prisons can tell you that you get paid pennies compared to what the labor and the hours that you put in, indoors or outdoors. And then in some cases, like in the States, you barely get you literally get next to nothing. So when he says America, the tilapia that you eat in many cases, tilapia farms in prisons. Customer service, when you're calling customer service, many prisons has customer service agents. It's not just about making license plates anymore in prisons. They make everything from the military bomb racks to military uniforms. They make everything from toothpaste to mattresses. Okay. Federal Industrial Complex. Federal Prison Industrial Complex, Unicor. Here we go. Y'all think I'm kidding. Y'all know Dre always bring the receipts. Yep, thank you, Sid, the 13th Amendment. Here we go. Unicor. What is Unicor? I'm gonna drop this link. Unicor is the United States Federal Industrial Prison Complex. You know how you guys hear that? The Industrial Prison Complex. This is Unicor. Unicor carries thousands of diverse products and services in over 80 supply classes produced at dozens of factories strategically across the United States. You know what those factories are? Federal prisons. They're all prisons. These are all the products that they're making. Let me scroll back down and let you guys see this photo, because this is how the Unicor was set up when I was in prison. These are all, remember I told you the beige uniforms in the federal prison, not the orange? All this is free labor. Look what they're making. The desks in the dressers that you buy at many of the stores. Unicor. 12,000 skilled workers. Unicor. The feds. It would amaze you the products that Unicor makes. This is who I worked for when I was in the feds. See, the same prison garbs. Female prisoners. And they try to make it seem like, and we're training the prisoners for life outside of prison. No, they could care less about us outside of prison. All they care was about the bottom line. Unicor is on the New York Stock Exchange. Did you know that? You can actually buy federal prison labor on the New York Stock Exchange. All these are prisoners, federal prisoners. I wore that same beige when I was in prison, the short sleeve and the long sleeve. Right here tells you a store for each one of them: the general store, the license plate store, the Bureau of Prison store, the U.S. Marshal store, the U.S. Air Force store, prison store. Let's look at the prison store. All these products that you're looking at right now are made by federal prisoners, and even more. This is just stuff that you can get that federal prisoners make for prisoners. the uniforms, the goggles, gloves, the jackets. I remember wearing those jackets when it was cold. Towels. I remember those curtains. The trays for food and the cups. I remember those. All those are made by the prisoners. The beds, desks for the offices, all this made by free labor. Free labor. The belts right here that are for security. When they come in there and beat you down. All this is Unicorn. And they promote regular businesses to do business with them. That's why I say they got the tilapia farms all across America in prisons. You can look that up. Prisoners, yeah, your favorite tilapia. Just general products that you see on a regular basis are made by federal prisoners. Products and services catalog. Oh yeah, I'm dropping this link. Believe you me. I told y'all guys, I always come with the receipt, and if I'm wrong, I have no problem with being corrected or correcting myself. That's the link right there to Unicorn. So those of you that would like to know more about it. Yeah, I know Tiger Blood. Yeah. That 13th Amendment, free labor, you know how much profit that is? That means that I make this cup. They might pay me 15 cents or 3 cents for my part of the labor. 1 cent for my hours of work of molding this cup, or 15 seconds of work, depending on the machine that they had me using to make this cup, and they sell this cup for $8. They paid me, because I'm a prisoner, 3 cents to 35 cents to make it. Yet the profit on it, $8. So they made $7 and something in profit. So the U.S. prison makes handbags, running shoes. They also do the same in Chinese prisons. Yep. That I did know. A man named Michael Jordan, not the basketball player, owns the most private prisons in the United States. Let me write that down. I didn't know that. Boy, I had just got out before the privatized prison movement took off. I was in the feds when they first started talking about it and when they first started building them, but I never made it to one. I've been to over 10 federal prisons across the country. And the reason why I did that, I had 10 years. And unlike the state, because state has maybe 1 or 2 prisons, in the feds, they allowed you to transfer when I was in every 6 months. Now I think it's every 18 months. So when I was in a fed, you could do 6 months, put in for a transfer, go to a joint on the other side of the country, do 6 months, put in a transfer. So I was breaking my bid up. So I'm like 6 months here, 8 months there. So that's why so many people knew me, and the guards knew me from across the country, because by the time I got somewhere, I had such a reputation as the school teacher and the person that helped people in get into college and public speaking, that by the time I got somewhere, I already had a positive reputation. See, a lot of do realize this about prison, even state prison. Prison is broken up into, like in life, is broken up into groups. For those of you that have been in prison can attest to what I'm saying. Not everybody is a gambler. Not everybody is sleeping with them boys. You know what I mean by them boys. Not everybody is on a basketball court getting into fights. Not everybody is in a law library. Not everybody is in the church or in the nation or in the Sunni Muslims or the Shiites or the more science. It's everything is not everybody's going to college. Not everybody's at the gym. When you go into prison, you find your clique to get off into. So in the movies, they amplify that, you go to prison and they attack you and everybody's got a shank and everybody's sleeping with each other. That's not true. Now, are some prisons more dangerous than others? Yes, I've been behind the fences. Some are more dangerous. You got to be more careful than others. But for the most part, prisons are clique. Those that mess with the boys are in their own clique usually. You know who mess with who. And they're in their clique. The spiritual brothers, they're in their clique. The dudes that's about education and insight and knowledge, they're in their clique. The guys that are in the gym and working out, they're in their clique. The dudes that gamble and they owe each other and they get into fights because they owe each other, or the dudes that do drugs, they're in a clique. And if you're not in that clique, you don't even see it. In all the prisons that I was in, I never saw anybody doing drugs. I knew it was plenty of drugs around, but I never saw anybody doing drugs. Why? I wasn't in that clique. I never saw one game of gambling. Why? Because I was not in that clique, so I was never going to the areas where I knew the dudes were gambling. It wasn't like I was shunning it. It wasn't a part of what I was doing. And I was cool with everybody because I was the school teacher. See, you don't want to mess up with the school teacher because you're trying to graduate and go to college and then get out and do something with your life. So if I got the power to do that, I'm cool with the El Rukians from Chicago, all the way to the Crips and the Bloods from LA, all the way to the Mexican mafia in Oklahoma and Texas. I'm cool with all them dudes. Why? Because I'm the one that's helping them get an education to do some better things when they get out. So everybody was always cool with me anyway. So all you dudes that thought or think that I was in prison and I was one of them dudes that was into the boys or I was into the game, I was never in that world. I was literally cool with. I never had it. Not one time that I ever had somebody walk up on me. Oh man, you on that? No, never. In 10 years. In 10 years, never had an issue with anybody. And there are plenty of dudes that have come in, did their bit, and went home. And never had an issue. It depends on what group or clique that you're in. And for those of you that have been to prison, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's some of you dudes that have never touched them boys in prison. But you see dudes in relationships, because them dudes don't just be sleeping with dudes. They be in full-blown relationships. Man, I've seen dudes, when it was time for them to go home, cry. When it was time for them to go home to their wife and kids, be in tears because they were in love with their gay lover in prison. But I wasn't a part of that world. They have a whole world that if you're not a part of, you wouldn't really see it. Now, do I know of dudes that got, they just straight took it from them? I heard of stories, yeah, but I never saw that per se. Never saw it. And it was not none of my business to ask. Hey, did somebody do something to you last night? That ain't none of my business. Yeah. So I was transferring every 6 months to break my time up. So my 10 years went by fast compared to if I was in a state and I was sitting in one spot for 10 years. So in other words, I was a passport bro while I was in the feds. Yeah. But that's how I learned so much about Unicorn. Thank you for letting me know about Michael Jordan. I didn't get a chance to write that down. Yeah. I got out like right before the privatized prison industry start shipping prisoners to the private prisons. I had heard about them, but I didn't make it to one. He said, damn, I thought it was just license plates. And that's what they want you to think. You see how they program us? That's what they want you to think. Man, listen, some of you guys have called customer service, and that female on that other end of that phone was doing a 3-year bid. Customer service see, it used to be just outsourced, but now you got all this free labor inside. You got 2 million bodies of free labor, and it's not just men. Companies have said, okay, we'll do a contract with the federal prison to allow us to use with our company 100 of their prisoners across the country and train them in customer service. And so many companies in the United States that you call their customer service, not all, but many, there's a prisoner on the other side of that customer service. It will amaze you, dude. Amaze you. Shout out to my man, to Mr. Darkus, the navigator in the building. He said before it was license plates, now it's everything. Yes. And I remember the Muslim brothers would say, we'll work on almost everything, but anything that has to do with, according to their religion, they were allowed to not have to work on anything that had to do with battle fatigue, battle artillery, as far as your military clothing, military gun racks, because we made the gun racks as well as the racks for the missiles. Anything that had to do with the boots or the uniforms, they had the right to say, according to my religion, I'm against, we're not for war, we're not for attacking people. So we refuse to make these items, and they would have them work in another department. So I do remember that the Muslim brothers didn't work on, especially the Nation brothers, they did not work on anything that had to do with military or war or police uniforms or prison uniforms. They had the right, because of their religion, to not do that. That I do know. Kind of like Muhammad Ali, when he was like, according to my religion, I'm not going into the draft. It was the same thing with the Nation brothers and other Muslim brothers. I do remember that part. No sound, Darth? Am I off? Is my sound off? Can you guys hear me? Oh, that was earlier. Okay. Okay, Darth. Steel-toe boots. He say, don't toe the mark, fellas. Leave while you can. Yes, sir. He say, that's true. Jordan owns prison stocks. I couldn't do it. I purchased a lot of stocks, but when Unicore went public, that's all right. Blacks got mad. It was a different person. Yet prison stocks never go under. That is true. That I followed Unicore stocks. They don't go under. As long as you've got individuals that think that they're doing something. In the United States, the prison system is not about fighting crime and helping a person rehabilitate. It is not about that. It's about getting as many bodies into state and federal prisons for all these products that need to be made for free labor. That's what it's all about. They could kill, dude. Do you think they care about somebody getting caught up with something with a bag of weed? They sent a whole task force of people for this little little bit that this will be a bag of weed back in the day. Dudes get caught with a little bit of this or something. And you sit in whole task force. You got a whole team for little old us. They didn't care anything about that. It's all about getting as many, but to this day, it's about getting bodies. If you guys want to study, just study prison farms. State of Alabama, state of Tennessee, state of Kentucky, prison farms. I'm talking about farms. Out there in that heat, like during the slave days, for dang near free, where your lips turn white. I'll say it again. Dudes were showing me their pictures because some dudes will come from finishing their state time and they'll come into the feds to do their fed time. And I remember a couple brothers coming from those camps, those prison camps, those state prison camps, and they would show me that I never saw that. I didn't understand why the mockery of black people were blackface, white lips. I didn't understand that until I saw the IDs of these brothers that have been in prison in Alabama, Tennessee, Louisiana, Arkansas. And I didn't know that because of having very little or being dehydrated, our lips over time literally turn white. And being in that sun, you become blacker. And so you got your dark and your lips literally. I didn't know. You think you see it in racist cartoons and you see it like blackface back in the day, but you didn't know that that's literally what happens to us. And these dudes would show me their eye, and I was like, wow, I didn't know. They were like, yeah. These dudes would treat federal prison as if they got rescued from the states, from the state prisons. He said, I used to be a CO. Oh, you was a CO back in the day? Okay. He said there were brown and green clothing. I remember the green too. I remember the green khakis. Yep. He said one's green wasn't treated as harsh as those in the brown or the beige. Absolutely correct. Man, Timothy, I know you was a CO back in the day. For those that don't know, CO is correctional officer. We used to tease y'all, boy. We used to say, we in prison because they locked us up. You in prison, you volunteered to be here. And if you're doing overtime on a regular basis, man, we used to say, man, the difference between a CO and a prisoner is a CO just to go home and sleep and come back to prison. That's it. Because if you're doing those shifts, those 10-hour, 12-hour shifts, or those 16-hour shifts, man, you in prison just as much as we are. And so we used to say, man, you volunteered to be up in here. They had to capture us to get us in here. Shout out to the COs. Shout out to the COs. I remember those days. Yeah, I'm gonna be looking up this guy, Michael Jordan, to find out what's going on. Oh, my sound's good. Thank you, brother. Oh, Joe Biden was instrumental. Oh, yeah. Joe Biden got so many people locked up with his policies that came down the turnpike when he was vice president. I mean, when he was senator, my bad. When he was Senator Joe Biden, yes, sir. That's how a lot of us got locked up through those Biden bills that he presented as a senator. Man, the federal government has been eating good off of Biden bills to get everybody locked up. But then he shows up at George Floyd's funeral during the election year. Weird, huh? Yeah. Shout out to my man Don. Let me make sure I got everybody, yeah. Looks like we've gone past. I was going to show another video, but I don't want to take up you guys' whole day. It is 1:17 here. I know exactly where you are. In VA, I know exactly where you are. Woo. Yeah. Wow. Oh, you still a C? Oh, Don, you still a CO? It sounds like from what you're saying, you're still a CO there. I know exactly what area you're in too. Oh yeah, I got time. Okay, let's watch this second video. The second video is about. It is about. There's not going to be any change also anytime too soon when it comes to how our youth are treated by the police and how our youth are treated by our community. If you guys think that police brutality is going to change in your lifetime or in your kids or grandkids' lifetime, that's not going to happen. The Black community has always been policed from the time of the Klan when they decided, I don't just want to be a sheriff, I want to put a hood on my head and be a Klansman, and they took the hood off their head and they put on robes and became judges. I'll say that again. They started off as sheriffs, sheriffing our community. They said that's not good enough. Let's put fear into their hearts and let the sheriff, when the sun go down, put a hood on, get some deputies, put hoods on them, and let them run rampant through the Black community policing. They took the hoods off and they decided to put on judge robes and police uniforms. Same dudes, same behaviors. Not all cops, but enough. And that's all they need. See, to police the Black community, you don't need enough ignorant cops. I mean, you don't need all ignorant cops. All you need is enough ignorant cops. You don't need all bad judges. You just need enough corrupt bad judges. You don't need bad attorneys. All you need is enough bad attorneys. That's all you need. You in the feds, you didn't need all bad COs, all bad correctional officers. All correctional officers weren't bad. You just needed enough to be assholes. You just needed enough. So we're going to watch a video in regards to how young people feel about the U.S. and how brutality is not going to change.
Oh my goodness.
Getting pulled over by the cops is like fear. It's fear.
This isn't a new thing. For me, growing up, whether it be Tamir Rice, Trayvon Martin, people who look like me, people who are my age, regardless of if people know it or not, they see us a different way. I just want to be respected. It doesn't matter if you like me. It doesn't matter if we're friends. It doesn't matter if you even know me. But if I have your respect, then nothing else really matters.
I mean, Tamir is very athletic, so he could have got a scholarship to play soccer, basketball, football, anything. He loved to make his family laugh, play jokes and stuff. I mean, he was only 12 for 5 months. He's a very talented little boy. I really don't know what he could have become because America robbed me of that. Yeah, they robbed me of it.
it hurts, you know. It always feels like, wow, it's still going on. Wow, it's like over and over again. But like for me, that's fuel to my fire. We can advocate for real change, you know, at the state level, with the laws, you know. The power of the people that rise out of that is beautiful.
I just want to be understood. So often I feel like people look at me and they don't know what to think. They don't know where they stand. They don't know how to act. And I want people to be able to be comfortable around me, to have these difficult conversations, because I want to educate people. I want to make sure that we're all like happy and we can all be agreeable.
To watch all of that, especially Amana Berry and George Floyd, I mean, it actually kind of took breath out my body to have to watch that, just the same as it took breath out my body for Tamir. And to hear what happened to Breonna Taylor, that was also sad, you know, very sad. It's a lot for a lot of us to deal with as Americans, you know, feel like we living on edge at this point. And I'm trying to honor my son's 18th birthday and can't even do that because they keep killing us. You know, they keep killing us.
We're going to pause it right there for a split second. Since her son died in Cleveland, 12-year-old young man, we never think about that these mothers who lost sons and daughters don't even get a chance to truly heal or mourn or even fight for justice, because there's another incident, and then there's another incident, and then there's another. And so they have to rehash and relive the pain of losing theirs every time they turn on the news and see the loss that another mother or father or loved one is going through at the hands of police pullovers. Does that only happen in the United States? No. But does it happen on a major scale more than most countries? Yeah. I've been driving here in Colombia about 3.5 years. I've had police cars with the sirens blaring behind me. Not once worried about them pulling me over. Usually they're on their way somewhere else. I got pulled over by the cops twice since I've been here. I had turned a corner one time on my way to the mall, and they were, I guess they were hitting their quota that day, because they had 10 cars pulled over and gave everybody a ticket. And then they told me, I said, it was a brother. I said, bro, what's going on? I said, there's no sign that says you can't turn here. He was like, yeah, they blocked off the streets, but they ain't tell nobody. I said, wait a minute. How you gonna block off a street and you ain't tell nobody? I got a ticket for that. But here in Colombia, you take a course, the ticket price is cut in half. So you pay half the ticket anyway. So it was next to nothing anyway. The second time I got stopped, I got pulled over. They were like, you, over here, I got pulled over. Like 5 or 6 cops pulling cars over. And it was funny because they only wanted me to donate money for wheelchairs for kids that were in need. And so all the nice cars that they saw driving down the street, hey, that's a nice truck. Hey, yeah, you pull over. So anybody in a vehicle that looked nice or new, they were pulling us over basically to ask for money. And they were showing us what they were doing, and in the community, and you could donate for a portion of a wheelchair. You could donate for a walker for some children, or you could donate for an electric wheelchair if you want to donate towards that as well. And that's happened to me a couple times. So actually pulled over 3 times, because the 2 times were for donations. And you so happy that, oh, that's what it's for? Okay. What you need, officer? Here you go. But I've never gotten pulled over in another country, and I've gotten a rental car in other countries as well, and never felt, oh man, they gonna pull me. Oh, here we go. Now, when I first got to Colombia and started driving, did I have that kind of feeling in me? Yeah, I did. Over 50 years old, and I still have that feeling of if I see some sirens because of what I was experiencing in the United States with unencouraged or unencouraged stops. They had no reason to stop me in the United States. And so I felt like that they would do that in Colombia. So like the first couple of times I saw the sirens behind me and they were riding by, I thought they're going to pull me over for no reason. And they never did. They keep it pushing. In the States, you know how many times I have been followed block to block by police cars running my plates? And you know, is it just me? You'll drive. You're like, are they following me? You're like, nah, they ain't following me. Because they may not have the cherries on. And you're like, and you'll purposely just turn a corner. So you'll turn. Oh, these niggas, they following me. They running my plates. Even though you know ain't nothing wrong with your plates, ain't nothing wrong with your license, ain't nothing wrong with your insurance. These dudes ain't got you think to yourself, they ain't got no other real criminals to go after. Ain't nobody hurt nobody in the world that they can really go after. But they gonna follow me. And then you say, let me make sure, maybe I'm just tripping. So you turn another corner on purpose. You ain't even your neighbor, you ain't not anywhere near your own neighborhood, but you would turn a third time just to see, am I crazy? And here they come, they turn the corner. Oh yeah, us Midwesterners, that always happens to us. And then all of a sudden, they either slow down or they ride past you. You don't know if it's an intimidation tactic. You don't know if they've been just running your plates just to run them. If they just hating on you for having a nice vehicle. I love being in a country where I can have whatever vehicle I want. They got some nice vehicles down here. You can get a Ferrari down here. You can get the best Audi truck or Mercedes or BMW truck that you want. They actually got the plans to start selling either next year. I think it's next year. That Tesla truck that just came out, the Cybertruck. So don't think that the United States are the only ones going to be selling that crazy truck. But I digress. He said, I've almost been arrested for mistaken identity, and it sucks. They tried to arrest me. He said, I think I smell drugs in your vehicle. So I stepped out the vehicle. I said, check it out. He said, do you mind if I bring my dog? I said, I'm going to tell you something right now. Your dog's got more drugs in its nostrils than I have in my car. Why would you say something like that? I say, because you turn your dog into a junkie before you bring your dog to airports or to vehicles. That dog's got to know what cocaine smells like in order to look for cocaine. I say, so be it. Brother, I've never done drugs a day in my life. I say, now, if y'all came out with a dog that was an alcoholic looking for some liquor, I say, you might get that. I say, but drugs, I say, man, have at it. I say, just don't plant anything in there that don't belong in there. I say, I've never done drugs a day in my life. You can't name a one. I say, I'm a dude that likes my enjoyment in liquid form. We sat there just talking, conversing, blah, blah, blah. Dog didn't find anything. I say, now you just wasted your time and my time. Just wasted it. That's what I mean about I feel so good that no matter what I drive in South America, nobody's going to pull me over just because of what I drive. Black man, nice vehicle. This doesn't look right. Pull him over. They don't do that in South America. I don't miss that. Shout out to Corey. I don't miss that part. Let's go back to the video.
Being a young black man, it's a traumatic experience, man. My stepdad was murdered. I had a teammate who was killed. So I experienced the plights of black people on top of just going outside and being scared. And I have to wear my Harbor hat because I feel like it's a shield. It's tough when you feel like you have to change who you are in order to fit the mold of the world in order to be safe.
I just want to be, as of right now, at peace. So I'm like blessed to be black, and I'm also a little nervous, you know. You never know what's gonna come up, never know what's next.
Yes, I've been reflecting a lot since 2020 because 2020 is when we left Columbus, Ohio. Really, we were making our plan in 2019, December of 2019 to leave. The passports were on hold because the lockdown, all that stuff. But you can learn about that in another video on the channel. But anyway, I was comparing when we left in 2020 to now traveling across East Africa. And I've noticed that in the past 3 to 4 years, there are a lot of entrepreneurs who have the ability. They are either doing business in Africa, usually it's Ghana or Nigeria or Zanzibar. And then on the flip side of that, these are like African diaspora. Then on the flip side of that, we also have a lot of European or white Americans that are leaving America, namely California, Florida, New York, and Ohio. I don't know why these specific states, but they're leaving these places in herds to go travel to Portugal, back to the villages that they have in Italy and Portugal, and even some of like the Asian islands. This is something that has exploded just in the past 4 years, and it's almost prophetic. What do you think?
Yeah, people are just getting sick of just the West, just inflation, just everything that is starting to be right in your face. They just want to leave it alone.
Yeah.
And we kind of noticed it in 2018, 2019.
Yeah.
So we decided that, hey, this is something that we're gonna do for sure, and make sure our family be okay, because that's the most important thing at the end of the day, is just make sure your children will be okay when you're not here. So yeah, I definitely noticed a lot of people coming back home too. Even Africans that move to America,
right?
They come back to Africa to build, to start their inheritance for their family. So this is something to think about really in 2025, because I'm not sure how this year is going to be. Like I don't know how this year is going to be. I just know it's going to be crazy. I tell you that. So you got to start thinking about what are the steps that I need to take to escape, or not, I don't want to say escape, just to get away from the West system. So that's something very important that you got to think about, like right now. Like, what are the steps? Do I have my passport, right? That's the main one.
That's number one.
Because I know me and you were talking earlier, saying like, dang, I don't think I had a passport when I was younger, when I was a kid.
Right.
It's like, dang, me neither. And that's pretty much normal for a lot of people. They don't think about passports, because if you're traveling, you're gonna be traveling in the States or something.
Yep.
But it's time to get passports.
Yeah.
It definitely is, for your whole family. It doesn't matter if it's your cousin. I'm not saying pay for your cousin, but just
just help them, say something.
That's all you gotta say. Get your passport. Because what if there was a ship that come and say, hey, if you got your passport, you can come, and you're stuck and you don't have your passport?
That'd be a struggle.
That'd be a struggle. Like, dang, that's all I needed was my passport.
That's all you need. It's not complicated. A lot of people also think people
before they go any further in regards to that is an excellent. I'm going to read your comment in a second, Zeta. But that's an excellent point when it comes to the passport. In 2019, Taylor Made Dreams did a video on the top 10 reasons why. Thanks, babe. I appreciate you. The top 10 reasons why he wasn't moving back to the States. And one of them, he also emphasized on getting your passports. You never know what's going to come down the turnpike. We did our video in regards to the importance of getting your passport in 2018. Fast forward 6 months after Taylor Made Dreams said what he said, the pandemic hit. Those who had passports could get out of the country and ride out the pandemic in whatever beautiful country you wanted to ride it out in. Those of you who didn't have your passports, you didn't know what was going on. United States caught up with the pandemic like, we were looking at you guys like, y'all not on lockdown yet? What's lockdown? Like, what? The world is locked down. What are you guys doing? And y'all just walking around the street, y'all just chilling, and y'all end up with the most deaths out of all the countries. And then you had this state had this policy, that state had that policy. You're going through all this confusion that was going on with during the Trump administration, telling y'all to drink bleach. At the end of the day, they're right. A time will come where those who have passports, as soon as we see something popping off, we know how to get up out of there. We're not waiting. Those who don't have passports, you're going to regret it. I promise you that. A moment in time will come that may not be pandemic-ish, or it may just be happening to one country at a time. And you'll wish that you had a passport for not only for yourself, but for your loved ones. I kid you not. I wish I could put it any other way. Marcus Garvey would be a proud passport brother. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. They're telling y'all to drink bleach and all type of stuff during the pandemic. And dudes in Colombia, a year, can't get back to work in the States, but yet in the States, they can't fire them because of the pandemic. So these guys get to stay in Colombia a whole year or stay in Brazil a whole year. And if they worked online, they definitely even got paid that whole year they were in South America, compared to dealing with the madness that was taking place back home. The confusion per states. You got so many deaths that were taking place in New York. You guys are bringing in, we're watching you on the news. You're bringing in freezer trucks because the morgues are so the morgues are so full of bodies that you got to have freezer trucks. It's already sad enough that if you get COVID, you're isolated and you basically die alone. Think about it. You don't die in the loving arms of your loved ones and they're the last faces that you see. Nope, you are isolated. And the only people that you see are the people that takes care of your body until to the last of your moments, to your dying moments. How sad that is, to never be able to say goodbye to a lot of people that you wish you could say goodbye to. I kid you not, man. And the other thing that Americans fail to realize when it comes to your passport, it is a form of identification. How is it that you got the first form, which is your ID? The second form, your social security card. You got the third form, which is your driver's license. And so you just said F the fourth form, which is your passport. While you got people that are impoverished in other countries and even they got a passport. You got people that are in Africa, in Asia, in Colombia that don't make half the money that you got, and yet they have a passport. Many of them, not all, but many of them have passports. And you can't talk black people into getting a passport because you don't see the value of it, even if it's a form of ID, just in case you lose all other forms of ID. My man Zeta says, he said, Andre, I even got pulled over by one black officer and tried to accuse me of having substance and alcohol. So I walked a straight line. Crazy what they'll do to meet that quota. I'm done with the U.S. And there's a lot of people that feel that way. Doesn't mean that we don't love our country. But as far as those little pettiness, those little interrupters of life, you're like, dude, I could be at home I could be at home writing a great American novel right now, and you got me pulled over for the last 45 minutes on some charges just so you can hit your quota. He said, Kevin Samuel said, winter is coming, and that's prophetic. Winter is here. It's here. You've got Dennis Sperlin, the Blizzard King, because the blizzard is here. Shout out to my man Ali in the building. Men's Daily. This is one powerful topic. This is going to impact the Passport Bro, Passport Sis movement. This report that we just watched that the Urban League did, especially when he said it's going to take 180 years for black people to get equality based on the data and the amount of, the movement of the needle, how slow it's going for black progression. I kid you guys not. They did a good job with programming us to be faithful, even though they're not faithful to us. 2 years probation for calling my son's former racist school teacher an idiot. But for the N-word, they get a slap on the wrist. I'll tell you the full story on our consultation call. Cool. It's crazy. It is. And after 50 years of dealing with it, I gave my country 'tis of thee 50 years. Half a century of my life, I gave my country 'tis of thee. I love my country. I love my country just as much as them boys in Oklahoma love the United States as well. All you Utah boys, all you Dakotas, all you Colorado boys that love the United States and ladies that love the United States. I love the United States just as much as you do. But as a man of color, based off the stats, I gotta wait 180 years to become equal to you. As far as economics, healthcare, employment opportunity, I gotta wait 180 years for employment opportunities to be equal higher. I gotta wait 180 years for how they treat us in hospitals to be equal. How they treat us when it comes to our life insurance to be equal I gotta wait 180. Yeah, y'all have fun with that one. Andre is exaggerating. I'm not exaggerating. Tell the Urban League, who's been around all these years, that they're exaggerating. Tell the young men on the video that said, I just want to have peace, just walking down the street. Tell them that they're exaggerating. Tell the mothers that have lost sons and daughters at the hands of police. Tell them that they're exaggerating. Don't tell me I'm exaggerating, because all I'm doing is just showcasing what families in the United States are going through. Tell me the stat that I showed you in regards to the down payment for a house. That's an exaggeration. It really doesn't take $100,000 to get a down payment for a house in Florida. Ask a Floridian. I'm just exaggerating. Unicor is not a prison, industrial prison complex that makes money off the back of prisoners. Tell me I'm exaggerating. Come on, Americans. You're just exaggerating. You're just being an emotional black man. You're exaggerating. Like I always say about the Passport Bro movement. Yes, Passport Bros quite often on many videos, which I don't agree with all the time, talk about women. Y'all always talking about us. The one thing that I'll ask women in the United States, where are they lying? I have yet to see a TikTok video, a YouTube short, any of that said that Passport Bros lied on us women. Modern women are not what those men are saying. Never saw a video on that. Y'all with these Latin women or these Asian women talking about us. They are. Are we lying? Have you guys seen the video where a female put out a video or a whole series of video saying the black man lies on the black woman? They will say, y'all hate us. Have you ever seen the video that said y'all lying? I've never seen the video. TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, the Rumble. I've never seen it on any platform where a black woman sat back and said, statistically, here are the true facts. See, Passport Bros and expats are lying on black women because the facts say. Name the video where women said Kevin Samuels lied on women. We don't like his tone. Got you. We don't like how he said it. Got you. Did he lie? Why am I going in that direction? Because I'm about to bring it around as we end this video in a second. I'm bringing it around to you black men. Name one thing that I just showed you this morning that was a lie. Down payments for a home in the United States are expensive as heck and will continue to go up. Police brutality is not going to change anytime too soon. How they see you as political power or political staple is not going to change, or see you as political pawns is not going to change too soon, is it? What about employment opportunities? Our healthcare insurance, our economic indicators. What about the fact that they said that it's going to take 180 years for black people statistically to become equal in those areas as whites? Name one area that I lied, or I showed something that was a lie, or where the Urban League lied. Black men? Well, if none of them or I told a lie today, and you got a passport, why haven't you used it at least one time? If everything that we're saying as men that travel to other countries and women that travel to other countries is a lie, prove us wrong. Anton Daniels, he traveled and he converted. I know of other guys that have traveled and said, man, I swore passport bros, I swore expats, blue book gentlemen were about this, that, and this. And soon as I went to Taiwan for the first time, Tokyo for the first time, Thailand for the first time, Tanzania for the first time, now I understand. So until you see us or can prove that we're lying, you're going to always hear black men sharing information, not gripes, information. Shout out to my man Growth in the building. IQS says this. Shout out to you, brother, for the $5. He said, in my early 40s, I know I have more years behind me than I do in front of me. The United States, through media, have programmed us to believe that midlife or the male's midlife crisis happens between like 45 and 50 years old, right? He's 50, he's going through midlife. No. Midlife for most men in the United States is the age 37. Just in case you want to know that. Just in case you want to realize that most men don't live to be 100. That's not midlife 50. 37 is the actual age. So in my early 40s, past the midlife, he does realize that, hey, I got more years behind me than in the front. Statistically. I'm not waiting for people to change. That's not going to happen. It takes too many decades for people to become who they are, and it takes a lot of decades also for, no matter where you go in the world, for us people to change from who we've become. I'll say that again. It takes decades of programming to get us to who we are in any country. It takes decades also to reprogram us away from who we've become. You come to Colombia 10 years from now, there'll still be traditional families here. Same parts of Asia, it'll be like that. You'll see some shifts. You'll see new buildings come up, old buildings go down. You'll see a little bit of behavior shifts, but in 10 years, most of Thailand is still going to be with the same Thailand. It'll still be known as the country of smiles. Philippines will basically still be the Philippines in 10 years. Some buildings will go up, other buildings will be torn down. Little shifts will take place, but for the most part, it'll still be the same. That's why most countries are not running around hollering LGBTQ as much as the United States. Shout out to LGBTQ, no offense to you. But not all countries, such as Ghana, are just rip-roaring to embrace everything that is embraced in the West. It's just, those are facts. But as he said, I'm not waiting for people to change because that's not going to happen. He said, I'll change my environment. And that's all we're asking you to do, guys. Go visit new environments. And if it's not for you and you want to go back to the States, there's nothing wrong with that. Or even if you want to move to another state from your home state, there's nothing wrong with that. but at least give yourself a chance. This is the era of giving yourself a chance. My man Zay once again with the $5. He said, plotting my escape now. He said, served horribly in the U.S. military, and it feels like America has abandoned me. It's a shithole. Woo. I ain't mad at you. And I can't wait to escape. Just can't wait. I feel you, brother. I feel you, man. Listen. If I was I ponder over this sometimes. Just, your imagination, just think of that. I said, what if I was back in the States and they said, Andre, we're revoking your passport? I might be the only brother that they might have to catch in Mexico. I'm gonna find a way to get out that. I am like, I can't do it. American escapes America. I can't. I'm sorry. You telling me that if they revoked it, you wouldn't do everything you need to do to get it back? Yes, I would, but I ain't gonna lie. I might be in the middle of plotting at the same time I'm working on getting my passport back. So whichever one comes first, the chicken or the egg, I got to be up out of there. I ain't gonna even lie to you. Kofi, make sure you drop your channel so we can make sure we subscribe. We got 128 people in the building. Make sure you guys click that like button. We like you. Make sure you like us too. We already know.
Oprah coming next.
We know that Oprah is coming next. That's my go-to question for women in real life and the internet. You may not like my content or the language I use, but did I lie? I watched plenty of your content, and I have not seen you lie one time on women. You never exaggerated or blew it out of proportion. I guess that's what exaggeration is, but yeah. Honest facts that some people just can't take. Honest facts. Let's get back to the video. This is a couple that moved to Africa in 2000, I believe they said 18. And they're talking about the things that they're noticing, how many more black people are, and white people are moving back to Europe, and black people are coming down to Africa.
People that have never traveled before think, oh, you need lots of vaccinations, which actually isn't true. There's multiple countries in Africa you can go to. We're in one of them, Tanzania. If you're coming from America, you don't need all these vaccinations. They're not required. People are always like, well, how many vaccinations and all this? A lot of the things that we've been taught in the West just aren't reality. Mm-hmm. And you will never know that.
But before she goes any further, I thought the same thing about Colombia. I thought, dude, I literally went to the doctor to get a bunch of vaccinations because I thought that's what you needed to get into the country. Remember, I said I didn't know anybody, even though I had Colombian friends. I didn't talk to them about vaccinations. I assumed that all countries you need a bunch of because that's what it made it seem like in some of the movies. So I thought you needed vaccinations. So I literally set up appointments to get vaccinations. Yellow fever, typhoid, all these vaccinations. There's a long list of vaccinations. And before I got them, my Colombian friends told me, I said, well, I got an appointment to get a vaccinations. And they were like, for what? You going to the Amazon? I'm like, no, you don't need vaccinations. The only time you need vaccination is yellow fever if you go into the Amazon. I said, well, I got plans getting the yellow fever shot anyway. They say, how much you paying? It should be free. I say, free? I say yellow fever shot in Tampa is $275. They say you paying $275 for a yellow fever shot? I say, yeah. What's wrong with that? I kid you not. And my Colombian friend said, you don't need a yellow fever shot to go to Colombia, just to go into the Amazon regions. But when you get to Colombia, you can get a yellow fever shot. Andre, it's free. Most vaccination shots for this disease and that disease around the world, in Colombia, when you guys come, that's another thing you need to take advantage of, guys. If you're here, go to the doctor with your passport, set appointments. I want to get I need to get a shot for this, a shot for that, a shot for this, and a shot for that. Typhoid fever, yellow fever, that one fever, this one, and it's all free? You don't even have to be a citizen. It's free. I'm ready. I kid you not. I'm ready to spend like $600-700 because they had a brochure in Tampa. They had a brochure at the clinic, and they had these are what all the shots will be, and this was the full cost of $600 worth of shots. If I had not said anything to my Colombian friends, I would have did just like they were saying in this video. I would have believed the hype and told myself I needed all those shots and paid for $600 worth of shots that when I got to Colombia, A, I didn't need them, and B, once I got here, found out they were doing them for free. This is not what I heard. Every time I go to a doctor's appointment, there's a booth right there that tells you these are the time for these shots right here. Just set an appointment. Soon as you walk through the door of the clinic or the doctor's office that I go to, right around the corner, free. Free. Yeah, that bust my head open. Yeah. Bing. What? Free. Man, I was this close to paying that $600. Shout out to my man with the $2, my man LJ. He said, Dre, this is a great topic. Salute, coach. Yes, sir. Growth says this. He said, Dre is pronounced Kofu. Okay, so I'll make sure I pronounce it. I thought it was Kofe. Kofu. Okay. Growth talk with Kofu. Did I pronounce it correctly? Oh, sofa. Kofa. Oh, Kofa. I don't know why I was. Oh. The A makes the same sound like it does in Spanish. Kofa. Like in Spanish. Kofa. Now I got it. Thanks, brother. Shout out to my man Kofa in the building. Drop that link, brother. We got 114 people in the building that can subscribe to your channel. Drop that link. Kofa. Now you got me. Let's go back to the video. Let's finish this video off.
Until you get out of your comfort zone and see, oh, it actually is feasible to travel. Oh, by the time I pay my $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 rent, I could already have multiple plane tickets and actually traveled around Africa and enjoyed my life and created a brand and a lifestyle and a whole, just everything around it. Instead of staying in debt, staying, in the crazy weather, because even when you think about it right now, it's winter. Winter, when stuff really goes wrong and we see wars are in the world, it's not a secret, it's not a conspiracy. There is multiple wars going on in the world. In fact, we would say that we're in World War III. And so when you sit in these places that aren't livable for any extended period of time, you're gonna have trouble. You can't grow food when there's a snowstorm. It's very difficult, if the electricity goes out, you're gonna have a super hard time versus if the electricity goes out here, it's warm. Actually, it's really hot, but you're not in danger of freezing or anything like that. And although it may be an inconvenience, these are inconveniences that you should probably be getting used to in the world where we have World War III going on.
Yeah, because it's getting crazier and crazier, and all we want to do for you guys is to just help you go step by step. So if you guys need more information, click the link below, right? Because we are here to help you guys. I know we do videos, we talk about this, but if you really know us, if the people that's watching, please comment and let them know, hey, journey with us. Every time we see them, they're always cool, they always speaking good, they're just humble people. So we are here to help you, right? And that's the Bible, right? We gotta help each other, no matter what.
And we gotta leave the West, no matter what. Straight up, no matter what.
So,
get your passport. Don't worry about too many vaccinations. Write down 5 African countries that you're interested in. Just write them down. And if you're like, where do I start? Start with the most peaceful ones. Start with the ones who have the least corruption. Start with the ones that are most stable. Start with the ones who, you know, value the skills and talents that you have. Maybe you're a teacher. Maybe you're in tech. Maybe you're in marketing. Maybe you're in graphic design. Maybe you're in construction. Start looking out on their immigration websites and say, okay, what are they valuing in their economy right now? Where can I fit into this puzzle and bridge the gap between me and my people in Africa? Because we are one people. Like, we go and we look just like the people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all over the world. It's not just in Africa. The indigenous all over the world, we all look alike.
Exactly. So guys, thanks for tuning in. Make sure you like, comment, and share this video, right? And subscribe to the channel. And I hope you guys got some information from this video that will help you guys, that will help anybody that's around you. So ask everybody, do they have their passport? Right? Because I'm asking you, do you have your passport?
And we're going to end it right there. Do you have your passport? And if you do have it, do you have plans in 2024 to use your passport other than Mexico or Canada? Do not be trying to say, well, I went to Cancun. No. That doesn't count anymore. Well, I went to Toronto Caribbean Festival. No, that even those are fun. Those are fun things to do. No. 2024, promise yourself that you will use your passport outside of Mexico and Canada and just the Caribbean islands. The British Virgin Islands, in other words. You can get to the U.S. Virgin Islands without a passport. We're up out of here, guys. I'm glad that you guys came in for such a great topic. Says she has to be the first black woman to promote getting passports. I know, right? She like, listen. And he said that they got a family of 7. So they got a family of 7 that they moved to another country. He said, Passport Bros movies coming in the future. Escape from the West. Yes. Yep. There needs to be 1 and 2. I actually got a Passport Bro novel coming out. You know, I've got a couple of books coming out, but I also just wrote a novel that has to deal with the past. I even talked to Aaron about it a while back. So shout out to you guys. I appreciate you guys being here. I didn't know how this was going to turn out. We're going to be doing this once again every other Saturday. I got a couple of interviews that's coming down the turnpike for every Saturday or every other Saturday when we do this. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. I'm glad that this was very informative. I hope it was encouraging. Like I said, not want to do the fear factor thing. That's not us. But I do want to encourage you and let you know that you got a family outside of the States, just like you got family in the United States. Once again, my name is Andre of Andre and Andres Love Crossing Borders. I'll be seeing you guys mañana, tomorrow evening with Andrea for Sunday night. You're going to have a great time. Passport Bros up. Fellas, work hard to get far. Yes, sir. And let's close with one of the videos. And all the women in this video, once again, are Colombians.
I said, yeah, yeah. Like it or love it, it's double or nothing. You ain't getting money, then you bugging. Damn fat, you know I'ma hug it. Lowe's by the truck. Up the budget, cashing it in, damn I'm a bucket. OD, you know Oliver does it. If it ain't moolah, we cannot discuss it. Her name ain't Erica, she finna bust it. Her name ain't Megan, but yeah, she a stallion. The way that we dressin' ran out of Italian. New chain bustin', peep the medallion. Pull your own troubles out by the gallon. Her name ain't Lotta, but she from the south. Her name ain't Ruby, she got a big mouth. Putting it in, she sticking it out. Putting it in, she sticking it out. She like salsa, one in a hole, just like a golfer. If you ain't leeching, what can you offer? Ain't got it, they just be talking. Ain't got it, they just be talking. They gon' tell you what you wanna hear. Yeah, put you in a nice pair. Bet if you don't listen.
All this shit on me, I'm making her wet. It's double line, they know we the set. They know we up next, that's why they upset. Diamonds on me, and you know it's baguettes. Ballin' so hot, man, I need me a rap. If you ain't on time, then you getting left. Can't live in the past, ain't got no regrets. Ain't looking for love, just want me. Like it or love it, still gotta respect it. How you in first, but you coming in second. They watching you next, so you gotta protect it. Running it up and we breaking the records. You gave us your last, you should've just kept it. Eyes on me as soon as I step in. The eye on me, you know what I'm reppin'. It's eyes, so yeah, you know what we dressin'. Our blessings is coming, they know that we destined. Like it or love it, they know how we coming. Just send us the budget, send us the budget. She went a second, my hands are on weed. She tell me don't touch it. She don't. We bringing them vibes, you know we don't force it. Tell them don't rush us. Don't rush us at all. Hate us or love us, it really don't matter. Ain't holding no grudges.
Like it or love it, it's double or nothing. You ain't getting money, then you bugging. Damn fat, you know I'ma hug it. Lows by the truck, up the budget, cashing it in. Damn I'm a bucket. OD, you know Oliver does it. If it ain't moolah, we cannot discuss it. Her name ain't Erica, she finna bust it.
She want me to touch it, I'm making her cream. Like she a Russian, she for the team. She bring her cousins, I'm bringing my brothers. Now it's the scene, and we all for being.
Like it or love it, I had just dub it. Ain't no in between, no in between. She for the streets, feeling so geek. She for the streets, feeling so geek.
Like it or love it, they know how we coming. Just send us the budget, send us the budget.
All right, send us the budget. You guys have a great evening. Enjoy yourself, and I will talk to you